to be that guy. But with that being said, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Deadhead Podcast, the last show of the year, episode 63. I hope you guys are doing well. I always get sad when I say that every year. We've been doing this for 3 years, and I get sadder and sadder with every time I have to say this is the last show of the year. And while the break is definitely going to be deserved, I could use a little bit of break, take some time, not have to feel like, oh man, every 2 weeks got to do thumbnail and post and things like that. We're still going to post. We're still going to try to do social media, but at the same time, this is a good reset, a good time to reevaluate some things we got going on, talk about future of the show, and talk about what we want out of the new year. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that here today when we're probably wrapping up and maybe the later part of the show. But with that being said, Jan, how's it going, buddy? I know I just talked to you a little bit brief, like previously what you were doing, but tell the people how you've been doing.
Well, I mean, all things considered, I've been doing decently well. Um, Not considering the cold. I don't know if I ever said this on live, but I despise the cold. It makes me lose any will of ever going outside. But honestly, I would just stay in all day. But then I remember that I got things like things I have to do, people I gotta see, and
Mm.
so yeah. But besides that, it's same old, same old. What about you?
It's been good. I was telling Jan, I've been just trying to do more family stuff. I've had to work a lot, as you guys know. I'm pretty open about working two jobs, and I kind of hated my life there for a little while, but I still hate my life, but not as much as not as much as I used to. It's not too bad. I know what I'm doing it for, trying to pay off some debt and things of that nature, and we'll get there. And that's kind of what I was talking to Jan about before the show started. Well, you'll get to where you need to be. It just takes some time. As generic as that sounds, time does heal all wounds. It really does, and we'll get out of whatever situation you're in. If you're not happy with where you're at, you will get out of it. It just takes time, and you'll get there. So anyway, I feel really inspirational today. I'm sorry. I just feel like I'm in a good mood. I'm ready to send off the year on a good note, and
Tis
then
the
I'm
season.
also, yeah. Well, honestly, man, like while we're on that, I haven't really been. I think I told you this last week. I haven't really been as much into the Christmas stuff this year because I've been really, really busy, working all the time, and I feel so
Hmm.
bad because the wife is. I can tell the wife is kind of like, I wouldn't say getting frustrated with me, but she's like, man, watching Christmas movies and stuff like that was something I always did growing up, and that was a big part of my family. I was like, you know what, man, it was a big part of my family too. It's just it's different this year. Like I wanna be a Christmas guy. I want to be a family guy. Of course, my family guy, my my daughter. This is her first Christmas, even though she won't remember it. Will remember it. All that stuff matters, but it's just I'm working so much, and I'm just not at home that often that when I'm at home, I'm just trying to decompress so I can do it all over again the next day. You know what I mean? I just feel
Hmm.
like I'm kind of in that cycle. So like I'm trying like tonight. Matter of fact, when we get off the show and I got a little bit of time, I already promised we're gonna watch some Christmas movies and just sort of be a little bit festive, things like that. But it's harder to get into the holidays when you're working all the time. Like
Oh,
does that
definitely.
make sense to you?
It makes complete a lot of sense. I mean, even though at first I was confused what you said because you've been doing like a lot of festive related activities. You took your family to that
Oh yeah, yeah. The Busch
Christmas
Gardens,
amusement park.
yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas Town. Yep, yep.
And but yeah, no, I can definitely see your perspective. I mean, that would get me down to numbers. I hate work.
Yep.
Oh, Axel says hello.
Hey
Oh,
Axel, how's it going, man?
what are you
What are you
guys
guys
talking
gonna?
about today? VGAs, mostly.
Yep. VGA is talking about announcements, talk about some things, maybe even the Game Awards winners a little bit. We'll talk about that,
Oh,
and then
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
so it's a little bit of everything. I'm sure at least half of this show we're going to be talking about the VGA. So if you're not no boys today, I know you're a big the boys guy. Or person. Sorry, I'm not too sure what what gender you are exactly, but whether it is, I'm glad that you stopped by for the last show of the new year. So, I guess that being said, man, unless there's nothing else to really preface this conversation, the Game Awards. What are your thoughts on it, Jan? As far as like as
uh,
a whole, what do you think?
incre- I was incredibly surprised. Honestly, as much as I like, watching this event, I've been doing it for like I don't know how many years in a row now. This is the time that I'm a guy. Awesome, thank you. Uh, yeah, this one time, this one edition really blew me away, both with the announcements and with the winners of the awards. I mean, should I say more? Astrobot getting Game of the Year. Who expected that? Not only that, they swept a shit ton of prizes. I remember thinking, okay, there's no way Astrobot is gonna win like
Hmm.
Game of the Year, but that's why it's getting so many prizes in so many different categories, right? Best action adventure, best something else. I don't remember. You won a few of those, right? And so I thought, oh, okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. He's not gonna win. It's not gonna win, but he's getting a few nominations. No, fuck that. It's getting both the small category awards and the Game of the Year award. Insane, insane. I was so happy.
Hmm.
Uh, I, I don't know how you feel about Astro Boy winning, but I think we can both agree that it deserves this way more than both Rebirth and Metaphor. And excuse me, Shadow of the Earth Tree.
Hmm. I think those are both fair assessments. Honestly, I'm not mad about it. I almost half expected it
Oh yeah.
somewhat to a degree because Russ was in our chat like 2 weeks ago, and he was
Mm-hmm.
talking about like what games really have come out. There's just not many options, right? Out of all those options for Game of the Year, that one, in a weird way, made the most sense. Shadow of the Earth Tree was the DLC. That what was that? What was that one? Balatro? Is that what it's called?
Balatro, yeah.
Not to say that's a bad game, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. When you guys mentioned it, I was like, "What the heck is Balatro?" And then with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, while that is a great game, I got my problems with it. It is a good game, but I didn't see that being Game of the Year worthy.
Oh no.
And then what was the? And then Metaphor ReFantazio. I could see that. The only problem I would say with that is that game just kind of came out sort of recent, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I
And
feel
it's a
like that
very
might have
long
been
game.
that might have been what really got that one. So honestly, Astrobot makes sense as a short game. What, like 7 hours at tops?
Mm-hmm.
Tops.
Mm-hmm.
It's whimsical. It's very interesting. It's cool with the haptics and everything. It's beautiful graphically.
Anybody
I
can play it.
I understand. I
Mm.
kind of understand. Even though, like, I obviously, yes. If there was like anything else, if there was like an Uncharted or a Last of Us, or if there was a God of War, anything like that, of course I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, it's kind of like when Overwatch beat Uncharted 4
Oh
for the
my
game.
god, dude.
Like, that was the
Didn't get me
biggest
started on
robbery
that.
I've ever seen. Like, I just,
Oh man.
but I wasn't like super pissed about it, but I was also like, if I cared that much, I could understand why people would be furious, because it's like, that makes literally no sense, like, at
It
all.
really doesn't.
Because I
It
was
really
watching
doesn't.
gameplay, because I've beaten Uncharted 4 like 4 times now, but I was seeing that gameplay on Twitter where it's like when you're being pulled by this by the Doom buggy, like Nathan Drake's like on the back of it, he's
Oh,
grabbing
okay,
his little chain, and the
yeah,
buggy's like whipping through the
yeah,
city streets and smashing through shit. And that was on the PS4. Like,
That
that
was
game
insane.
did crazy shit on that hardware. It makes no sense why Overwatch was even close to that, but to each his
Yeah.
own. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, hitting on Overwatch is cool nowadays, but it always was a Team Fortress clone and nothing more, right? It was just
Mhm.
insanely popular, and that's what it got,
Yeah,
why it got
yeah,
the award.
yeah. But all in all, yeah. Like, I thought the presentation, everything was good. Um, So I guess the best, maybe natural way to do this, I guess we can talk about. I mean, well, I guess before we go into further into the announcements, like, was there any like surprises to you as far as any like awards, like any games that I got one in particular that it got me kind of irritated about it,
Oh
but I
yeah.
also understand because circumstances. Is there a game that you saw that was like, oh come on man, that's bullshit, or
I,
like there's something that didn't win? Was there anything like
okay,
that?
I can't think of any. Though I might be misremembering some. I might be forgetting some because, to
Hmm.
be quite honest with you, the Game Awards starts like what, sometime in the evening to you.
Hmm.
I had to stay up until like 1 a.m. to start watching it, and it went all the way to like 4 and 5 p.m. over here. So I dozed off at some point, you know. But
Hmm.
so I made, but I did, of obviously I did later on. I did watch the recap and everything, but I don't remember anything. The only I remember actually the opposite. I remember there's this one part where they're talking about the most anticipated game, and they're like mentioning all these games as if GTA 6 is not predestined to win that category. Like no matter
Mm.
what, you could have the second coming of Jesus Christ in that race, and GTA 6 is still gonna be the most anticipated game of the year. Uh, so yeah, that was funny.
Uh,
He even added like a bit of pathos to it, and the winner is like as if we don't know, like as if.
That's funny. Yeah, like the second coming is literally on the brink. Which one are you more looking forward to, Jesus or GTA 6? And GTA 6 still wins. That's nuts.
No brainer. No, it would happen. You know it would.
That's good. That's good. That's a really good one. I might have to use that. Yeah. No.
I'll
I
give you
mean, yeah. Like,
permission.
I agree 100%. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like as if there's anything else that comes close to the hype of that. Now, I will say this for me personally. Like, all right, look, GTA 6 is a day one buy. You already know
Hmm.
the quality is going to be there. You already know the storytelling is going to be there. Like, whatever. Um, this is actually a good question, Axel. We'll get to that in a minute. But honestly, for me, the thing that disappointed me the most was that Silent Hill 2 didn't get one win over anything. And I think that's asinine. I think it's crazy. I get it's a remake. I wasn't expecting game of the year, but at least give like music, man. That music is some of the best music in a game, period. I was listening to it this morning making breakfast. I'm like, it's so majestic and it's got like I think I've talked about it before. It's got your great highs, it's got your great lows, it's got your middle ground, it's got like your rocky like rock music type, and then you have like you're just more of just I don't know, man. It's a majestic ass like ODST, and I'm surprised it didn't get a win for anything. And like or like, dude, the guy who plays James, phenomenal job. Why was he not?
Actually, I
I
agree.
didn't win
I
anything.
agree. I completely agree with that. Actually, no, I think that one I was a bit upset. I think James should have the actor for James should have gotten that award. For the
Yeah,
music, is kind of, I mean, Rebirth one. You can't really
uh,
fight Final
I
Fantasy.
got you.
It's like beating GTA with the most anticipated hype. You know,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah, I understand.
Ax- Axel is asking, do you think GTA 6 will be worth the wait? I think Dylan, you're the most appropriate one to answer this. So
No,
you're
it.
not okay.
Well, so here's the thing from a standpoint of like a quality standpoint, yes, but I think there's a like I'm already trying to keep my expectations kind of low, right? Because I'm more of a GTA 4 is probably my favorite GTA. Period.
Mhm.
I think it's got the darker tone that I really like. I think Nico Bellic as a character is pretty complex, even though he kind of comes off as just this straightforward hitman. But I think the gameplay is some of the best in that game, even though it's kind of old. It's aged a bit, but it's not as aged as like GTA 3, San
Oh yeah.
Andreas, or Vice
Vice
City.
City.
So it's aged, but it also feels modern. I think the physics are way better. Like if you shoot somebody in the arm, they react to the shot. Not like in
Oh
GTA
man.
5. Even GTA 5 doesn't even do that. Um, I think GTA 4 pushed some bounds that I think that I would like to see the series go back to. But the thing is, I think with the main characters being together, like they're in a relationship, they're partners in crime, but
Oh,
you
okay.
get this aspect, you get this feeling that they're in a romantic relationship. I don't think you can get that same level of. I just think it's going to be different. I just don't think you're like in with Nico Bellic. You can beep your horn at a stripper. They'll come in, well, a hooker on the side of the street. They'll get into your car, go into a back alley, and they'll blow you for some money. I just don't. I don't know if they're going to do that same thing, and that's fine. Like I didn't do that. That people bitching about that. If they end up getting away with that feature, who gives a shit? Because it's
Honestly, yeah.
like yeah, when I was like a teenager and was like, oh yeah, I get blowed in the car. Like yeah, of course I did it. Or I went to the strip club, right, and I saw boobies on the video game. It's like, all right, yeah, that's kind of cool. But like, you want to be honest with you? You know how many times I went to the strip club now that I'm an adult playing video games?
Yep.
Zero. You know what I mean? Like I'm married. I got a wife. I see boobies more regularly than the most would, and I'm not only mean that in a bad way. I'm not even meaning that in a sexualizing my wife kind of thing. I'm just saying like I don't need to go in a strip club to see that, and so therefore like I'm fine with there's strip clubs and things like that in the game, but if GTA 6 doesn't really have like the we're getting blowed in the car and things like that, I'm kind of fine with it. But I think to answer your question, will it be worth the wait? I 100%. I think it will be worth the wait. But same time, I think people's expectations are going to be so high that I don't know if it's ever going to reach it, man.
Yeah, you know what I think it is? Again, as a newbie to the series, but I've seen this pattern, this hype pattern happening in various franchises, and I think what people really want is more of the same. And what you just said about, the main characters having a completely different dynamic compared to the previous entries,
Hmm.
I think people are just gonna, again, I just said it's gonna be different, right? And
Hmm.
people are gonna hate it. People are gonna hate it big time. People really, what they really want is just, GTA 5 from the ground up. That's what people really want. They want GTA
Hmm.
5 too. That's what they want. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's probably going to be a lot of people bitching about, just as you said, maybe if it's not because of they removed the prostitutes or strip clubs, maybe because they removed something else.
Yeah, well, we already
But
know there's going to definitely be
Mhm,
strip clubs and
mhm.
things like that. I mean, we saw that in the trailer where
Yeah.
girls shaking their asses on top of the cars, and there's
Oh yeah,
definitely
you're
strip clubs.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're going to have that, and I'm completely fine with that. I'm just saying, like, I'm more of talking more of like the more raunchier, like getting some chick to blow you on the side of the road. Now that you're with
Yeah.
somebody, they are a couple. If you go in the trailer, they are straight up a romantically involved couple. They just like robbing shit. That's just what they're kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde. So
Yeah.
it would honestly, from a character standpoint, unless they tell you in like story that they have a very open relationship, it'd feel weird for me even to be like sleeping with other chicks and knowing I
Yeah.
got one back home. You know what I mean?
But you know what? I think that's what's gonna happen. Honestly, I think they're gonna do like they're either gonna be not together throughout the entirety of the plot, or they're gonna be like in an open relationship, or maybe you can just be a sleazebag. You know, these games
Yeah.
have always been about freedom, right?
Yeah. The good thing about it is, I mean, you're playing as both of them. So like, if you're sleazebag with one, I'm interested to see how you are with the
Have
other.
we
So when I
have we
play as
ever
Lucia,
had? Yeah, yeah. Speaking about it, have we ever had a main protagonist in GTA that's a woman?
no.
Well, that we're kind of breaking new ground there. I feel like that there's going to be a lot of interesting interactions coming just from that concept.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting because how does it like? I was thinking about this at work the other day. I was like, if you play as Lucia,
Uh-huh.
she's like the main character. They already say her name is Lucia. I don't know what the other guy's name is, but if you're playing with her, like in older GTA's, yeah, you beep your horn and a prostitute gets you a car and blows you. How does it work with Lucia? If that feature's still in the game, it's like she's just trying to like
Well,
get
women can
some.
still get oral sex,
Of
so I,
course, but I
so I
just,
feel like,
of course,
well,
but
I
I
don't
mean,
know. Well, there are going to be male prostitutes, which do exist, or maybe she kind of swings both ways. I guess we'll have to see.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't
Mhm.
know. There's a small things. Yeah, in a way, 50-50 on your question. It's definitely 50-50. Yanni, you got this question you want to.
Ooh, so what are your hopes for 2025? I actually haven't thought too much about that, honestly, because I feel like most of the games that I'm most excited for are not coming out in 2025, but they're coming out later. The new Naughty Dog game, which we'll talk about later.
Mhm.
Um, Judas, I don't think Judas is coming in 2025, is it? What
Unless
else
it's
we
like some
got?
kind of sneaky reveal in there somewhere. Yeah, I don't think
So I
so.
mean, if you're talking like video games, I'm seeing 25 as a backlog cleanup opportunity. I've already got my all the Final Fantasies that I haven't played all installed on my PlayStation, and I plan on playing them, all of them throughout, starting this winter all the way to I don't know. And I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 10, 2. Yeah, and that's it. Those are the ones. So those are my hopes for 2025. Oh, also GTA. I want to finish up GTA 3 to round up that trilogy and start GTA 5 before 6 comes out. Even though, okay, I know you're skeptical about GTA 6 coming out in 2025. I cannot risk it. I want to get both of those done before that game comes out because if I do it way too close to the release of GTA 6, I'm afraid I get burnt out,
Yeah, yeah, right.
and I
Yeah,
don't want that to happen. So I want to get
one.
rid of them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to go into it fresh. I'm 50-50 on it. I did see on Twitter again. You got to watch what you see on that, but it did say like an insider had said something um, that Rockstar is pushing for that 2025 release. But the thing
Hmm.
about that is that I know that they don't put out that many trailers, but I would have thought we would have seen another one by now. I really do think I would have saw at least one. Like if they did a character trailer for Lucia last year, do a character trailer for I think his name's Jason, I believe. At least that's what I heard
Let me
for
look it
this
up.
year. Um, so if we can get those trailers, I'll feel better about a 2025 release. If not, it's definitely 2026. I don't see it coming out any later than 2026. But honestly, I agree with you 100%. If you're going to play through them, that I don't mean to be sound like John Cena, but the time is now, baby. You got to go ahead and finish the ones that you haven't finished and get ready for the new one because the new one, like to go back to Axel's last question, I think I answered in a really confusing way. Is definitely going to be worth it in a sense that we've been waiting for it this long. I just think people's expectations, just like with any big release, is going to be higher than it should be. Because I think I just think of the world we live in, man. It's just like GTA has always been grounded in the raunchiness, the almost like political thing they try to do in their games, and I don't know the way the landscape is just it's weird. But what'd you see, Jan?
Well, Rockstar has not confirmed the name of Lucia's partner, although the December 2022 leak suggests his name is Jason.
Yeah,
So
that might
it's
be where I saw it
speculation,
from.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And what's crazy is those leaks. Like people were talking shit about them, saying it looks so bad and everything. I'm like, one, it's an unfinished game, loser. The second thing is, honestly, I didn't think it looked too bad. I really didn't. I thought for the most part it looked decent. Uh, it looked like modern GTA, which is what we want.
Yep.
Like it was just, I mean, honestly, we want a different game, different characters and stuff. But at the same time, we want those core things. We want the shooting. We want the driving. We want the drugs and alcohol and whores
Oh,
and strip
hell
clubs.
yeah.
We want all that. It's all this American type shit. And I'm sorry that well, I'm not sorry, but you know what I mean. Like I know you don't live in America, Jan, but this is what we want over here. We want straight up like delinquency.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
um, my I don't really have any real hopes for 2025 on that. I hope it's better than 24. There
Well, 24
are
wasn't that bad. Don't paint it more black than it was.
I don't know,
Like, I
man.
think.
Honestly, there was nothing that really grabbed me, but I will say there is a few in 25 early that I'm looking forward to, and one of those is the I have it as one of the pictures on our on our thumbnail, but it's the last Berserker.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah. There is a
looks
game that is rolling
sick.
out.
That looks awesome. Uh,
I
I'm
I
really
am
into
probably
that.
gonna. I probably play that as well. Yeah, no, that looks fun.
I love the art style. It looks brutal. They got my boy Clive Rossfield from Final Fantasy 16 voicing him, and I love that guy. So I'm gonna whatever game he plays, I'm gonna follow him because I just like him a lot. Um, there's also Expedition 33 that drops this upcoming year. He's also one of the
Oh
main
yeah,
characters in that, so I'll definitely check it out as well.
he's
Which
everywhere.
yeah, he ever since 16, he kind of just he's been going crazy on these voice acting and that kind of stuff. Like he's gotten a
Mm.
big space into the gaming world now. So really excited for that. Uh, but we have a bunch of game announcements. We don't, when Jan's ready, we can start talking about some of the announcements, man. Because I got a list here, and I mean, yeah, I mean, I will say there's quite a few that I've seen announced this year that have really gotten my interest. Jan says he really enjoyed it, so I'm assuming he's got some that he's looking forward to.
All
Uh,
right.
so I mentioned the last Berserker, so I kind of went too far ahead into this part of the conversation. But what are some games you're looking for? What is a game you're looking forward to? I guess we can go back and forth and see which ones we're looking forward to.
Well, since you got a list, I feel like you should start. But start small. Because I feel like, I have a few in mind, but they're too great. I feel like if I start, we'll kind of be, marching in fifth gear. So So
Okay, I got you. All right. Well, look, I mentioned the last Berserker, but you already know what I'm about to say next. The Witcher 4. That
oh
that
yeah,
that we
yep.
got a cinematic trailer, which apparently is actually in engine. So apparently that is a cutscene in the game, like that whole
Oh,
that. So apparently, like that is a mission that you'll be able to play in the game. They use footage from that section of the game. Now some of it is CGI'd. Obviously, the fight with the big monster, and obviously it was CGI'd, but everything else was like actual cutscenes, which is super super impressive if it can do that on the PS5. And they said PS5, so it's definitely
PS
coming within this generation, but it might be like towards the end.
PS5 Apprentice, PS5 Amateur, not PS5 Pro.
Right?
And that's
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah. PS5 All Star. But you know me, I'm really excited for it. I've been playing my playthrough of Witcher 3 for over the past year. It's such a long game. It's very, very involved. It has a lot going on. I'm actually like right at the cusp at the ending of The Witcher 3, and I couldn't be more excited. Like, there's been a lot of people bitching about the reveal. One, let me just get this out the way.
What?
Siri is smoking hot. I don't understand what people are saying. She looks like kind of like a man. She
Oh
looks
my god, again.
plain. I don't understand it at all. So, and I said smoking hot. Listen, I think that she's very attractive. She was attractive in 3, but she looks like a young woman in 3. In 4, she looks probably like, I don't know, mid 30s, something like that. It's a little bit of time has passed since The Witcher 3. Um, I don't
Besides,
understand.
she's battle hardened.
Yeah, that's the
What do you expect
thing.
her to look like? I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like I know your head is blocking her face right here in the thumbnail. I don't understand how you think that's ugly. I just don't understand.
I
I don't get it.
I feel like it's just people. I mean, I've seen a lot of, people like that who are just who have this conspiracy. They make up this conspiracy. They're people that Western media specifically is making, quote unquote, women in video games less attractive, and that is this is some sort of agenda or something. And it is, and I hate to express myself this way, but there's no other way to do it. It is the most chronically online, the most incel, the most virgin take I've heard in a long while. I mean, you should have seen these posts these guys make. They compare stuff like it wasn't Siri, it was another popular Western game, maybe like an Uncharted game or something like that. And they compared that, maybe The Last of Us 2 actually. I think it was Abby, of course, the pension bag for those guys. They compared her to the main character Eve from Stellar Blade, and it's like, and I feel like it's like such a ridiculous comparison because those are two completely different, not just art styles but tones too. Like one is a gritty game set in a bleak world. The other one is, this very, should I say stylized, should I say very fantastical world. So yeah, I think we really shouldn't we shouldn't go and give these guys any mind. I think they're just huge trolls,
Hmm.
and if they aren't, then I feel sorry for them.
Well,
I feel sorry to live in a brain like that.
the thing is, dude. Like in my opinion, and I hope this doesn't sound bad because I'm not. That's not what I mean. When I look at, agree with you, Stellar Blade and Last was two different worlds, two different stories. However, what I will say is, if you look at Eve from Stellar Blade, you look at Abby from
Mhm.
Last of Us, there's one thing they have in common. What do you think that one thing is?
I couldn't tell you.
That one thing is that both of their body types are very unrealistic, in my opinion. Like it just they look very
Okay, yeah.
because don't wrong. I'm not saying there's not like Eve, right? I'm not saying there's girls out there who don't have the itty bitty waist, the
Hmm.
fat butt, the boobs. That's not what I'm saying. But what I will say is, as exemplified as it is in Eve, it's a bit much. But then when you look at Abby from The Last of Us, I'm gonna tell you right now, I used to weightlift. I used to weightlift a lot for
Hmm.
football and
Hmm.
wrestling and martial arts, things like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, you cannot. It is physically incapable to get as big and as shredded as Abby is in the world they live in. There's just no way, unless they just have
Mm.
steroids like in the fridge somewhere and they just thaw that shit out and pump it into her ass. There's no way. There's no way. I'm telling you, Jan. I'm telling you, just straight up.
I trust you. No, I
There's
trust you,
no
but
way. There's
I
no
know. I
way.
mean, you know what? You might be right, but that's not the
She can
point.
be
We're
in
talking
shape.
about,
She can be in shape, but she's not going to be like that.
yeah, but we're not talking about realism here. We're talking about people being upset
Yeah,
that
right.
not every single female video game character doesn't have this
Oh,
doesn't look like a model.
yeah.
That's what
I
gets
agree.
me
I agree.
riled
I
up.
agree. I agree.
That's the problem.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I was just saying, like, though, out of all the similarities, those, like, if you want to look at the Western and then you want to look at over here, like, that's the one thing I will say. If at the end of the day, we're talking about females that do not
Hmm.
exist. Like,
Hmm. Of course.
so actually, besides their bodies being kind of unrealistic for the worlds they're in, it's also the fact that they don't exist. Siri, like you said, battle hardened, been through some shit. If you know her story, you know how powerful she is as a character. I don't understand like how you look at her and think she's not attractive. But here's also the thing too. I I I don't know many people who think Geralt of Rivia is the most attractive guy either. A lot of girls like him. A lot of girls
Oh
think
man.
he's hot, but it's mostly because of the fact that he's a Witcher. It's the fact that he doesn't have emotion, and he was just banging chicks out left, right, and center
Hmm.
until he met Yennefer or and Triss and Kira. These ladies, these witches that really kind of pulled him from that state of I don't care about anybody, I don't care about anything, and then he meets these women, and then they kind of change him for the better. That's why he falls in love with Triss, and then Ciri's kind of like their surrogate daughter. It kind of makes him more of a a family man, even though a Witcher is supposed to be emotionless. You know what I mean? And so
Of
like
course.
I don't know, within this world, I don't really understand the whole thing of them trying to be the most attractive people ever. Look at the most nastiest warriors that've ever lived, like in real life. Like none of them were like freaking Matthew McConaughey or Brad Pitt level or Ryan Reynolds level good looking
Right?
guys. They were rough looking people. And with Siri, she's not rough looking, but she looks like she's been through shit. She looks like she's seen things. And I honestly, dude, I have nothing wrong with her design. If anything, if anything, my one complaint would be I think her voice is a little. She's got a new voice actress than The
Oh.
Witcher 3. So they did change her voice a little bit. So it has a little bit more of a, like that last scene where she's walking away and she's like, there's no monsters here. There's no gods here, just monsters. And when she said it, she
Hmm.
sounded a little, I don't know how I felt about the voice, but she looks badass to me. I love it. I love her. So I'm
You
ready to
know,
play it. I'm ready
honestly,
to play it.
you know me. I've been trying to get into these games for a long time now,
You
and
need to.
this made
You need
me,
to.
yeah, and this kind of was a wake up call, honestly. The
Yeah.
whole thing. I mean, it's just what I think you said it. You said it perfectly, right? Just to end this conversation,
Hmm.
these people realistically would be butt ugly, right? They would be, they're living in terrible conditions. They were having terrible, really harsh lives. They would look much, quote unquote, worse than they do here. And the fact that people are still not satisfied, even though they do pre them up, because I mean that's just it's cinema, really, right? Not even video games. It's just cinema, right? You want the people on the screen to look pretty, right?
Hmm.
And but besides that, even though they do pre them up, it's not enough for some people. Some people are in this weird mind state where, like, honestly, I don't even know how they want it to look like. Um, yeah, no, I
Exactly.
just wanted
Well,
to put
what I
that
think
out.
is like I think I saw somebody take that this exact picture of Siri that's in the thumbnail,
Hmm.
and they like put it through an AI and
Oh
made
my god, I
Siri
saw
look
that.
like completely unrealistic. Like she had this
It,
makeup on, like not
and
realistic, but like
honestly,
it doesn't make
yeah,
any sense for what she's doing.
that me, not only that, but honestly, that is gaudy as hell.
I think it does
She
too.
looks terrible.
I think
She
it does.
looks
Yeah.
like she had a nose job. She's got like a shit ton of what do you call that? That powder
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
to get even out the tone of your skin. She has this pose that is like straight out of Vogue. It's it's terrible. It's one of the worst things I've seen.
Dude, it's terrible.
I'm
And, you know,
glad I didn't see it before falling asleep because I would have
right.
nightmares. I mean,
They try to do the same thing with Aloy too. Like, and I look, I'm one of
Mhm,
those. Listen, Aloy from the Horizon series. As much as I
mhm,
don't like those games, Aloy is not an ugly protagonist
not at all.
by a landslide. I think Aloy is actually very attractive. There's actually people online say she looks like a man. I'm like, what men have you guys seen? Because I'm not. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I don't. I just don't get it, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Anything that it isn't hyper feminine is just it looks like a man
One
to most people.
100
Yeah.
100%, 100%, and that's why we're going to talk about Intergalactic here shortly, and we'll
Oh,
talk more
yep.
about that. So we'll come back to that. Do
All
you
right.
got one you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one is, Elden Ring Night Rain, which got me very confused. I don't know if you spotted this, but before the trailer was shown, Jeff Keighley said, "Oh, here we are announcing a brand new standalone game," which is very weird. Games are standalone by proxy usually. The fact that you have to say standalone because when I saw it, I actually thought it was like a DLC. I had to remind myself that Jeff, the man, the myth, the legend, said standalone
Hmm.
because yeah, because now I have an idea what it is, and it is some sort of roguelike spin-off, which with a high emphasis on co-op,
Hmm.
which in the world, but Elden Ring, right? So with those with the same graphics engine, same mechanics, same everything. In other words, if you add all that together, the whole occasion, once you solve it, what you get is just a shit ton of hours that I'm gonna spend playing it. Enough said. I mean, you've seen the trailer. It looks amazing, right? It looks
Hmm.
just these battles, the things not only the enemies but the characters seem to be able to do. Um, and in the end, it's more Elden Ring, so I can't complain.
So is it co-op only?
I don't. I would. They said it's co-op centered, but I would imagine that you probably get like either AI partners or something if you play by yourself. It's just not. I think economically, it doesn't make sense for them to make it co-op only.
Right, right. Okay, I got you. Hmm.
But I'm talking out of my ass. Maybe it is. I don't think so though.
It definitely. I mean, like, look, I've told you before, man. I'm not huge into those games, but yeah, I mean, like from a visual standpoint, it looks like quality. And I'll be lying if I said if I didn't end up getting the game just to support it, maybe play co-op with you.
I would love that. You can make like a YouTube video about it,
Oh yeah, that would be pretty good.
right?
The only thing is the only thing like not to get on that we can talk more about it later. The only thing what that is, I think I'd have to have it hooked up to my PC, recorded off OBX.
Mm,
It'd be kind of to do it like the right way where I can hear you and you can hear me. It would be kind of tough, but yeah,
okay,
something to
okay.
talk
We'll
about.
talk about it.
It would be fun. Yeah, it looks good. It looks like quality. It looks like I don't want to say more of the same because it sounds negative, but it looks like more Elden Ring. But that's not a bad thing
Yep,
like at all.
agree.
So
Hard agree.
looks good.
What you got?
Another one that I'm so I say this one because I'm kind of I'm more what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not optimistic. I'm more back and forth on it, I guess. Like I'm not excited for it, but at the same time I'm looking forward to it, and that's Borderlands 4. I played all the other Borderlands. This looks like more of it. The only thing is Borderlands 3 kind of took a dip because the humor, they were trying to do something different. The humor, they were trying to make it more like content creator ish, more
Oh man.
things like that. And whenever games try to go that far and do that, it usually never works. It kind of comes off very lame because you got a bunch of old people that are writing this dialogue and shit, and they don't know anything about it. So Borderlands 3 for that, I think, kind of suffered, but what you'll get from that is great gameplay. It's all different types of guns you can pick up. I mean, the amount of guns you can get is ridiculous, and they all shoot differently. They all feel differently. Borderlands 3 on the PS5 is super fun because even though that game isn't as good as like the predecessors, I will say like on the PS5 with the haptics, the guns feel really really cool with the haptics, and it makes you feel like you're shooting something different. It's kind of like I compare it to. Horizon, with like where you got the bow, you have all the
Uh
different, you
huh.
got the
Uh huh.
slingshot. Everything feels kind of different with the haptics on the PS5 controller. Now, I wouldn't say Borderlands goes as far as that because Borderlands is not a console exclusive. But what I will say is it's really really cool. Like it has that really cool vibe. So just wanted to look out for. I didn't really want to talk about it too long, but I'm gonna be looking somewhat forward to that. But I think the next one I say is the one I'm really excited about. But I'll let you say whatever your next one is.
My next one is yeah, I got two more. Um, it's a game that doesn't have a title yet. It's the untitled game that's been announced, made by the guys who made Eco and Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian. All those games but The Last Guardian are some of my favorite just pieces of media ever. Just
Mhm.
things humans ever made that I really like. These both Eco and Shadow Colossus are up there. They're just experiences. I don't know if you ever played them, but they're just an experience. They
Mhm.
both artistically, both musically. Like when you play those, even though the controls are a bit clunky, that's like a lot of detractors comment on that. But I feel like it's less about like I don't want to say that it's bad on purpose, but I do want to say that it's a vision, right? You can either appreciate it, and immerse yourself in it, and kind of see what these people are trying to create, the story they're trying to tell, the world they're trying to show you, right? Um, or you can say that it's not for you, and I can respect that. And I kind of feel sorry for your soul because I feel like it's such a soothing for the soul to play these projects. And we've seen like what 1 minute of something like a cutscene or like a really short trailer. So I have no idea what this one is about, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna love it. And the Last Guardian was a bit of a miss, but you can all they can't all be winners,
That's right.
and I'm sure that this one will be. Enough said.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah. Again, I mean, it looks like looks interesting. I think when we talk about it, it's sometimes we get burnout from the same type of games, and I think Yeah, especially considering off The Last Guardian. I love the concept of Last Guardian. I booted up for like, I don't know, like an hour. Realized it wasn't really for me, but I could see it. Again, like a lot of the games, even if I'm not into it, I can definitely see it. I see why people love them.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, that's definitely one to look out for sure. So that's a good one. Uh, my next one I'm really excited about. Really excited about.
Okay.
And it comes out this summer. So I'm even more excited. And that is Mafia Old Country.
Oh
Uh,
man.
that game gives me erections. I'm just kidding. Again, that no, seriously, that game makes me wet. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, that game really looks awesome to me. It just, I love the feeling of it. Like, have you ever seen The Godfather?
Oh, yeah, of
The
course.
Godfather, Scarface, things like that. I Mafia, and actually even GTA 3. GTA 3 even has that same like Godfather, Goodfellas type vibe to it too, especially at the beginning. But this game has that as well, but it's in a different area. And I think we talked about this before. Like, where's the game set in? That we were talking about last.
Sicily, I think.
That's awesome. That's
Hmm.
such an awesome setting for this game. The landscapes look sick. The We haven't seen much gameplay. Apparently, we did, but I didn't catch the gameplay in the trailer.
I might have fell asleep during that, so because I don't remember it either.
Yeah, but man, I think it has big potential, man. These Mafia games, say what you want about the gameplay. That's
Hmm.
fair because it's up and down. I think Mafia 2's got the best gameplay, but I digress. Um, these games have such great narrative driven like stories. They're so dark and they're so real and they're gritty and I love the setting. I love the time period. It kind of has like an 80s type slash
Hmm.
90s kind of
Hmm.
look to it. Your main character, he looks pretty cool. I think it's got a lot going for it. I'm really excited about it, like really excited.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it too is Mafia games, they give off the illusion that they're open world, but they're not open world. They are
Oh.
more like, they're more narrative driven sandboxes. So like big areas, but they're not open world, and that makes it even better because I'm playing through The Witcher 3 open world. Oh god, even though I love that game, it's
Hmm.
like fuck, man, I can't. Sometimes it's a lot to chew on, man. It's a lot to chew on. That's why I like playing Indiana Jones has been a breath of fresh air because it has open areas, but it's a centralized story. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I hope that for Mafia, I just want a good, uh, dark, grounded narrative, and I've been desperate for these for a long time. We seem to be finally getting in summertime, so I'm really excited about that one. I'll stop jizzing over this. I just wanted to bring that up for sure.
No, no, dude, I get it. I mean, I think I said it last time, but seeing the announcement for the old country made me think, oh shit, I gotta get on this. Like after GTA, this is the next thing, the next GTA-esque game I'm playing. The whole because you know me, right? I can't just start with the old country. I gotta go all the way back. I gotta play them all. The way I can truly appreciate all the how much the series improves upon itself.
Did you ever download the? Sorry, kind of off subject, but on the subject. Did you ever? Apparently, the Mafia trilogy was available with the download for PlayStation Plus members. Did you ever download it?
Okay, so that's what it is because around that time, right, when I thought, okay, I'm gonna play these games, I checked them out in the store and found out that I own all of them, all three of them. I own all three of them. And now I know what it is. Yeah, I just so they're just waiting. Really, they're just waiting to be downloaded and played.
Yeah, it's too bad though. You got to play them in that shitty PS4 resolution. They for some reason
Oh,
have
that's
not upscaled these games at all.
uh
So you're playing the even like whenever you start playing whenever you do get to Red Dead 2, whenever that is
uh-huh.
on PlayStation, it's honestly the
30
worst
FPS.
it's the worst version of it because even the fidelity looks washed out. It doesn't look as good. But on the Series X, it's 4K resolution, just 30 FPS. So it kind of gives you the illusion that you're playing at a smoother frame rate, even though the game is
Well, I mean,
still you know.
although I don't prefer it, I mean, a higher, a better performance does, or I should say, a better resolution does help kind of soften the blow of a low frame rate.
Mhm.
So no, I get what you're saying. That is upsetting.
And those Mafia games, from what I can tell, now I haven't now since I've gotten the Pro and now that I'm playing on an OLED TV, I haven't tried it. Um, but I know when I think I booted up Mafia 3 on PlayStation, I was like, what the hell is this trash? Get this. It just looked so bad. It looked bad to me. And I was like, man, Mafia 3 is like the worst one, but it still has a
Mm,
great story because it's based in the 60s. You're in, you're, I'm trying to think, where are you at? New Orleans. You're in New Orleans during the 60s.
okay.
So it's got a really cool vibe. You're playing as a mixed character. He's a mixed,
Okay.
and so obviously, like the police officers and stuff, they're kind of mean to you and say some horrible things to you when you're driving down the road, walking down the street, or whatever. You're
That's
immediately the
fun.
suspect if there's a crime. Like that's fun.
No,
Well, it's kind of realistic for the time, but
no, I like it. I was kind of
yeah,
ironic, but I like that they
it's
interpret
all
that, that
it's all
they
it's very
go there.
authentic, man. I love the music. Kind of has like that jazz kind of feel to it. So yeah, definitely check those out, and we got to talk about them on the show. I think that'd be a blast. So
Yeah, and from what I got, just to stop last thing to say about the old country, not only is it set Sicily, but it's set in the 1900s. So it'll be like real vintage. I think it'll
yeah,
be real classy.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. It sounds like they're kind of. I am curious to see where it kind of has like an '80s, '90s vibe to it, but I'm fine if it even goes back a little bit farther than that. I'm fine with
I
that.
think it goes farther. I would say it's like early, from what I've seen. I mean, because that's
I'm fine with that. I mean, I
yeah.
love Tommy guns. I love Tommy guns and
Mm-hmm.
shit like that. So
Mm-hmm. Who
I'm all
doesn't?
for it. I'm all for it. So we can stop gushing about it. I was just
All right, all right, all
really
right.
excited about that.
So my next game is another Untitled game, and it was kind of funny when they showed it because it was Okami
Hmm.
or Okami, I should say. I don't know how it's pronounced. And it just said sequel, like in a very stylized font.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But Okami, it's just like Econ in Shadow of the Colossus. There's these cult games that earn a cult following for all the right reasons, just for being so unique and so different. And I can't wait for the sequel. I would love to have more to say, but they didn't show us much. So
Yeah. 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 And I was hearing there's like quite a bit of people talking about it, but yeah, I just don't know much about Okami at all. So that
hmm
unfortunately I just don't have much really to say on that. What's it about?
Oh well, I mean, you're a fox, right? Really, a reincarnation of a god, and you're going through this. It looks like a painted world. You know how those painted Japanese scrolls?
Hmm.
The entire art style of the game is based on that. And it's again, I think just like the previous games, it's more about the packaging style more than just the gameplay. The gameplay was a bit simple, uh, in all honesty. Oh man, we're getting compliments here.
Let's see, your program
Thank
looking good, honey, from Karachi,
Karachi.
Pakistan.
Thank you, honey, from Karachi, Pakistan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Mhm.
actually, we're using this new service called Eve Mux now. I actually there's a podcast that I watch. I think they don't have like the best streaming schedule, but when they do stream, I reached out to the host of that podcast, and he told me this is what they used, and it's very easy. It's got a lot more
Mhm.
customization options. We were using Streamyard. Uh, I'm not gonna talk shit about them, but I will say they raised their prices for very little customization. So EveMux is charging half that with way more customization. Now, I will say I have a feeling EveMux eventually is going to go up on their prices too. But I think from a standpoint of um, when we continue doing the show, I think EveMux is the place to go. So, but I do appreciate you saying that. I really appreciate it. I like EveMux as well. This is a good service. But anyway, yeah, I didn't really know much about that game, so I don't know if it's really up my alley or not. But I'll check it out. I'll see what more gameplay
I
is.
feel. I mean, it's like super. The first Okami is like super short. It's not like it's not very high commitment to check it out.
Yeah, good deal. My next one would be I don't know if this is like the official title or not, um, but it's called Project Century.
Which one is that?
It's a martial arts like hand to hand combat type game. It's from the Like a Dragon devs.
Oh,
It's
right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
it look very snazzy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It looks brutal, and it kind of reminds me of Sleeping Dogs. Have you ever played Sleeping Dogs?
I haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
That's one. It's one of my favorite GTA clones, like people like to say, but
Hmm.
it's definitely got its
Hmm.
own feel to it. I have it on PC. I got it on Xbox. I don't know if I got it on PlayStation, but if I don't, I'm gonna buy it on there too.
Yeah, I gotta get to it.
Dude, Sleeping
Hmm.
Dogs is awesome. It's got a great vibe, like detective and Japan type feel to it. It's like it's all big on like the triads, like has a whole thing with the triads, gang wars, things
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
that. It's sick, and I don't know as far as what the story of this one is, but it kind of has that same vibe. But only this is pushed. I don't want to say pushed further, but it looks like that, but on a modern scale. The combat looks like super brutal, and you know what I mean. I'm all about that. So
Now I'm gonna check it out too. Although I have to warn you, I haven't played much Yakuza or Like a Dragon games, and they do have, from what I hear, they're really cool stories, but they're also very over the top. They
mhm.
kind of mix in very Japanese humor in their stories, where things
Yeah,
just the most bad shit out of pocket things happen out of nowhere.
yeah.
So just be ready for that. I don't think it's gonna be dark and gritty the whole time.
Yeah, well, the thing that surprised me was is when you see the combat. You know, like 'cause
Hmm.
most of because I've only played like one Yakuza game, and that was years ago. I have all of them. I just haven't just said
Hmm.
screw it. I'm playing this whole series. But when you look at the combat in those games, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the combat as much because it looks too like it
Arcadey.
looks too arcadey to me because they had
Hmm.
like the glowing legs and the different fighting styles. And you glow a different color, whatever
Hmm.
fighting style you're in. Now, unless they add all this stuff in later, because I think this game is pretty early development.
Hmm.
Unless they
Hmm.
do that later, this looks more like a grounded combat, and I love grounded mixed martial arts. That's like, I mean, like Sleeping Dogs is that. Now it's some wild stuff in it, but for the most part, it is a grounded game. Like when you're doing kicks, it's just kicks. It's not any like special dragon kicks or nothing like that. It's just straight up like
Hmm.
if you kick somebody in the teeth, you kick them in the teeth, and you pick them up, slam their head down into a. You take a car door, open the car door, slam their head in it. I mean, it's straight up brutal shit to be doing as a cop, but but it's so much fun, and I think this game kind of has that same potential, just in a more modern take on it. So I'm really excited for it, but we're probably, like you say, it's probably several years out. So I hate it when they show games that early. But that's another one I was looking forward to. What's your next one, or do you have any more?
Well, I mean, I only have D1, which you
Oh,
probably
okay.
know. Yeah.
You got so
So,
so you want
hmm,
we can talk about Intergalactic together.
sure.
Just some honorable mentions real quick before we go into that. Another one I'm really looking out forward to is a game called Turok Origins.
Oh yeah, the Turo game.
I think it looks awesome. It's third person shooter, shooting dinosaurs. I like your character looks badass. The movement looks cool. I mean, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I've never. Turok is one of those franchises that I've only ever heard echoes of, but never ever seen anything and like anything substantial. Like I might have seen some gameplay of the PlayStation 3 reboot, which everybody thought sucked ass, and that's it. So I really have no, I'm out of my depth here. But I'll
Okay.
do say, yeah, shooting dinosaurs could be pretty cool. I might,
Yeah.
I might be up for that.
I'm not huge into it. I mean, like I played Turok on 360. I played that game when that was when I was PS3. I was PlayStation my whole life, and then when I got my first job, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy
Hmm.
me an Xbox. Be cool. That's what all everybody else plays on. So I got an
Hmm.
Xbox, and that was one of the first games I bought for like $3. It was like a value bin, and I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't. It's first person shooter. You shoot dinosaurs. Like okay, yeah, whatever. But this looks cool though. I love third person games. The
Yeah,
combat looks
it's.
fun. Weapons look cool. What we've seen so far, at least we saw some actual gameplay. So this leads me to believe that we're not going to have to wait super long for it, which is pretty cool, you know. Um, but we'll see. You know, at the
I mean,
same
it
time,
at least come out in this generation. They're saying PS5, so and Xbox Series X and S, so
yeah, yeah.
hopefully.
Another one that I'm looking at is Onimusha: Way of the Sword.
Right, right.
That looks
Um,
good. That's what is that? It's the return of. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher the shit out of this. I don't know what
what
it.
are you
Sa-
reading?
Samanosuke.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
In says I'm talking about Onimusha Way of the Sword, and it's like it says that
Okay, okay.
with the return of Samanosuke and
There's
Onimusha
probably
Way of the Sword,
there's probably some character or something. I know nothing. Oh yeah, yeah, that's one of the main characters. That is the main character.
reviving the
Okay, okay.
franchise after nearly 2 decades. Okay, that's why. That's why I haven't heard
Yeah,
of it.
that's what it. Yeah, Samonosuke. I don't know
Okay,
how to say that.
yeah, that looks pretty good. That was one that
Mhm.
I want to keep my eye on.
Sure, sure. I could. Oh yeah. Oh, with Musha, I'm the same as Turok. I just know it a
Oh,
bit,
okay,
and
I
that's
got
about
you.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think if there's one more that I was. I feel like there was one more that I wanted to say before we move on to Intergalactic because I know we got some thoughts on that. So lost to two rematch Kyora. Nah, I'm good. Steel Paws, Shadow
Steel Paws.
Labyrinth, Thick as Thieves, Dave the
Thick.
Diver, Slay the Spire, One Move Away, no thanks. Ninja Gaiden. I did see Ninja Gaiden. Is it?
Did they announce that?
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Brand new Ninja Gaiden game was the first announcement of the night.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool. I
coming next
forgot about
year.
that.
Yeah, coming next year. But I want to say, is that a side scrolling? Is it like a 2D game?
Oh, that's why. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's why I kept. Yeah, it is. It is. It's like a 2D side-scrolling action game, just like the original Ninja Gaidens were.
Okay. That might be okay, but I mean, there's not too many of those nowadays that I love. I thought Prince of Persia was pretty good for a little while, but then it started to piss me off, and I was like, okay, I just it's not that
Which
I
Prince of
don't
Persia are we talking about? Oh, the newest
the
one?
newest
Okay,
one that's
yeah.
like a side scroller. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not bad. Like I'm sure there's people love it, and I love the art style. Gameplay's fun, but I don't know, something about it was just not clicking with me, and I was like,
Clicking. Mm.
man, I just don't have the time to sit here and try to learn it. So F it. Um, let's talk about the bread and butter, I guess. Well, to some people it's the bread and butter. Some people it's the shit and toilet. What do you? I got a feeling I know what you're about to say, but I guess I'm gonna let you go first because I think you might have a bit more to say about it. I don't have anything really negative per se. What about
Um,
Intergalactic? Uh, what are you thinking about that announcement from Naughty
well,
Dog?
I mean, the first thing I gotta say is, finally, finally, guess, Naughty Dog fans get something to eat. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and finally getting a new IP. I think it's fascinating how much Naughty Dog evolves with each IP, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
think of back in the PS1 era when they're making Crash Bandicoot. Would you have ever imagined that they would have made something like The Last of Us?
Nope.
And yeah, but what's great about it is that if you look at it that way, it looks like they went completely in a different direction. But if you look at the evolution of their IPs, if you look at Jak and Daxter, especially Jak 2, then you can see the bridge between Crash and Jak, right? They're both very cartoony. They're both collectathons. Then Jak 2 kind of became a GTA clone, but that's another spiel. With much more emphasis, on shooting action, stuff like that. Which brings us to Uncharted, which is full on just a third-person shooter, like straight up, and it's obviously has a much more realistic setting and graphics. But you can see how they would go from Jak 2 or even Jak 3 to Uncharted. And then from Uncharted, they up the ante. They go from a completely gritty, much more realistic setting with The Last of Us. So, and the question was, where do you go from there? And Naughty Dog said, we're going to fucking space. And I'm all for it. Um, I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan, but I appreciate a good sci-fi when I see one.
Mm-hmm.
And like Naughty Dog, the writing is gonna be good. Like even if the story maybe will get wonky, maybe they will do some questionable choices in that regard. The dialogue is always good. I feel the characters will always have some kind of level of depth that could be appreciated.
Mm,
And I'm overall just very interested because this doesn't even look like a shooter. Like this chick, the protagonist, she had like a laser-based weapon,
yeah.
and she was ready to cut up that monster.
She has
I'm
a gun.
just
She does have a gun, though. She does have a
she does
gun.
have a
Remember,
gun.
because in the
Okay.
trailer, she picks up a gun, she puts a
All
magazine
right.
in or something, and she just puts it in her
Right, right,
holster. So
right.
she's definitely got a gun, but they just showed the melee part of it in the trailer.
But there is a melee part. The last was in Uncharted. I mean, you can fisticuff people, but you probably wouldn't and shouldn't
And
in
I
most
heard, by
cases.
the way, that
Mhm.
the whole trailer was not a CGI trailer. That was actually an in-game
That was
stuff as
in
well.
game. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's me, and I mean, as soon as I saw how the main protagonist looked, I could already tell, right? Like if people are bitching about Siri, you can only imagine
Yo,
when they
dude.
think about a woman with no hair, with little to no hair. Oh man, they were like, I can
Yeah.
imagine them tweaking.
Hmm.
But I actually haven't. I don't know. Out of respect of my own mental health, I haven't gone out and sought those replies. But thankfully, I have you here. I'm sure you can dilute them to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so just
Mhm.
to go off of that, yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about these female protagonists, and in in some ways, I kind of understand. Not in the ways we were just talking about, like with Siri and everything, like saying that she's ugly and all
Mhm.
this other stuff. And by no means is this character in Intergalactic an ugly woman either. Matter of fact, I was watching a TV show with her in it, and as
Oh
soon
yeah.
as I saw her, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I've seen her before." Um, None of my issues are going to be with her. I don't have any issues with it. I think people, again, like I think the people that complain about this stuff are a bunch of virgins. I really do.
Hmm.
I was watching somebody break down the trailer, and they were saying that she looks like a guy. I
Oh
don't
my
know where
god.
you think she looks like a guy.
Let's get creative with like the comments, man.
I just
Mhm.
I don't quite get that. The whole her not having hair type thing. The only thing I really will say is I think there's a reason why she doesn't have hair. I think it's a story reason, and honestly, I can kind of vibe with it
Mhm.
better. Not that I didn't vibe with it before, but I can vibe with it even better because I think now I don't know this, so don't quote me on this. We don't know much of the story, but it seems like the character is giving like the main character of Intergalactic. She's kind of giving this way about her as if like she's trying to go get this guy that she's looking for, and it almost seems like she's doing it to to not look recognizable almost because there's when the camera pans to a
Mm.
bunch of pictures, there's a picture of her with another guy, which I get kind of excited about because I recognized who she was standing next to, and I'll get to
Okay.
that in a minute. But she has hair. She has a full head of hair. And so when she's in the ship and she's cutting her hair, I think there's a reason why she's doing that. I think it's
Mhm.
to kind of not look like holy shit, that's so and so because I can't remember what her name is yet.
I
Jordan, is it?
forgot to.
I think it's Jordan something. But
Sounds good. Sounds right.
anyway, I think that's the story reason as to why she was cutting her hair. But but you had a lot of these hard right conservative people
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, well, she's just trying to look like a guy." Neil Druckmann is this. Which, listen, I'm not a big fan of Neil Druckmann either. I think he seems gives me very pretentious vibes. He might be an all right guy,
Yeah,
like
you
you
told me
talking
that.
to him, but he kind of gives off this kind of like I'm like this outstanding writer, and I do this and that. And I'm not saying that for the better he has helped in a lot of their success, especially with Last of Us, and then helping with the
Uncharted 4.
Uncharted. And so I'm not saying he doesn't provide quality stories, but what I'll say, he kind of gives off a very pretentious vibe. He doesn't give me a very like Corey Barlog kind of
Mhm.
vibe to him. He doesn't
Mhm.
give a Brian, what's his name from Insomniac when he's talking about the Spider-Man games. He's a very like uh, down to
Humble.
earth,
What? Yeah.
humble individual. Neil Druckmann does not give me that same vibe, and so I'm just not really a big fan of his as the character he gives off. But as far as his success in the company, 100%, you gotta take your hat off for it. My thoughts on Intergalactic, honestly, I'm like you. I was like, finally, we know they've been working on something for years. I heard something about a medieval fantasy for a little while, or and then I think there was rumors about a space thing. Um, and I'm actually I'm looking more forward to it after I've seen the trailer a couple times. I am looking more forward to it because I'm not a big sci-fi guy either, but what I do know is that this game is going to be on one planet. The main setting is going to be that one planet that she's
Oh.
going to. It's not going to be a huge space thing, a bunch of planets. We don't need that. I think you have more quality in just one planet that has interesting creatures, cool factions, and a very strong narrative driven overall story, and whether you have side quests or not. Like I go back to Indiana Jones because it's something I'm playing through at the moment. Indiana Jones does such a good job where you have side quests riddled throughout the game, which you wouldn't think there would be, but there is.
Hmm.
But every side quest goes back to the main story, so everything feels kind of important. And I hope I just that's just the type of level I hope is the same way with Intergalactic, which I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. As far as like the character that she's in the camera's panning and you see pictures of her and stuff, she's standing next to the main big bad of Better Call Saul. So the Better Call Saul villain is the guy she's standing next to in the game, and it kind of gives the illusion. I feel like he's going to be a villain in this game a little bit. I can feel it. You know what I mean? Because how close she is with him, you can tell that there's like something there. I don't, again, this is
Hmm.
all things I'm reading into. I don't know, but I kind of get the vibe that she was close with this guy, maybe a father figure to her. And kind of find out maybe he's like the biggest piece of shit ever, and that
Hmm.
gets me excited. That gets me excited to see him in this game. But yeah, I really I didn't mind it. I thought I don't know how the humor is going to sit. I will say that I don't the humor looks to be kind of goofy to me. When she's like sipping on the drink while the chick
Hmm.
is on the screen, I was like,
Yeah. Hmm.
it feels like Guardians of the Galaxy to me. And on that level, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but you see a lot of people try to juggle that, and it's not as effective. So that would be my only thing I'm worried about. But other than that, man, I'm a lot more optimistic about it than other people. I actually think it could be something. I don't want to say genius, but it could be something really, really good. I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of it, but I do think if anything, it's going to be quality. So that's my.
Yeah, you read much more into it than I than I did. I didn't rewatch the trailer that many times. Didn't recognize all these characters. Which actor are you talking about?
So when the camera's panning, there's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah, I get it.
there's like a board
Uh
on the
huh.
wall.
Uh huh.
There's a picture of her at a table, and this guy's leaning down with his arm around her, and he's got this mustache and slick back black hair.
Uh huh.
That's the main villain of Better Call Saul. I recognized him as soon as I saw him,
Uh
and
huh. Uh huh. Uh-huh.
his name is Tony Dalton. That's his real name. Um,
Let me
and
look it up.
as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh shit, they got Better Call Saul guy in here." I was like super psyched. And then the the woman that
Okay.
sorry, the guy that she's looking for, his name is Kumail Nanjiani, and he's a comedian. And he was in The Eternals. He was in a few other films as well. But they're gonna have a couple celebrity actors in this too that I really like. So I'm actually interested in that to see what parts they play in the story.
No, no, definitely. No, me too. One of the better parts I think of Naughty the games, especially the later ones, are the relationships between characters, right? Not just the positive ones, but the negative ones too, right? How how hate can be formed, right? How people tear each other apart. I think emotionally, I mean, that's the again. I mean, there's not much to say. It's just yeah, I'm just excited to see where this goes. What you said about the comedy, I feel like I mean the way I saw it, I might be wrong, but I feel like it was a one-off. Like because even the Last of Us has like this one scene where like Ellie's acting like a douchebag or something for comedy purposes. It might have just been that, or maybe not. Maybe they're trying to make it more lighthearted. We can who could ever know?
I think
We
that's
can say.
just based off of the anime playing on the screen. It kind of gave me a
Oh
cyberpunk. It
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
gave me a
yeah.
cyberpunk vibe at first. It kind of which I love cyberpunk. So if it's got anything close to that, I'm fine with it. But it definitely does have a lighter tone to it. But I do hope there's like I want it to be narrative focused, like all like Naughty Dog's games are. But at the same time, I kind of hope there's some room for customization. I hope there's maybe some different outfits. I hope there's
Mm,
different laser swords you can get. I hope there's different pistols and rifles or whatever you can get. Um, maybe a little bit of a skill tree, maybe a little bit more in depth than like a Last of Us. But I don't want to go like super far into it either. Like I don't need a
Hmm.
full on Witcher 3 type of upgrade system. I just think it would be kind of cool to customize a little bit more because I just think you have the power to do so. I think why not?
And The Last of Us doesn't really have a skill tree, but it does have a bit of a progression system. You know, you can upgrade your weapons, you can upgrade your main character by shoving pills into them.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, probably it'll have something like that. But just like you, I don't want it to go too over with it because I feel like Naughty Dog is one of those few developers who haven't succumbed to the open world syndrome,
Hmm.
where and I don't kind of and I would hate to see them go that way. So no, definitely I would love that. That's why I was so reassured. I didn't know they were focusing on one planet, but that really reassured me because that means they're still
Hmm.
on track. Um,
Yeah.
and when it comes to customization, I don't know. It would be cool. I would be cool. I agree. But I feel like Naughty Dog games historically only let you customize characters in like New Game Plus. Like when you beat the game, you unlock like a bonus shop and you can make Ellie wear that yellow jumpsuit. You know the one. Or have like a Jack and Daxter backpack.
Hmm.
But again, who knows? They are breaking new grounds. So
Hmm. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm very, I'm optimistic about it in the sense that I think, I'm excited to kind of see a new world within
Mm,
Naughty Dog. Like I think this is kind of like a passion project for them. I think just to get away from doing the Uncharted and Last of Us, while they do feel different, at the same time they kind of have a lot of that same core feelings to it. So just kind of, especially if you go from Uncharted 4 to Last of Us, while Last of Us is a darker game, at the same time it is like they are similar in ways. Obviously, the Last of Us is more brutal, um, but but yeah, like I think
you know.
especially when they're focusing on one planet, like I told you, like when I heard that, especially, I got really excited because
Hmm.
I know what Naughty Dog can do, and I just know that with one planet, the sky's the limit. With the different kinds of aliens that are there, the inhabitants, other inhabitants that are there, the different. Now, I don't want an Ubisoft taking out fortresses and shit like that. I don't really want that. But what I will say is that I think it'll be really cool if there's different factions. I will say I love the idea of factions of different types of people and other inhabitants on the planet that have groups and stuff that you can join, you can betray. I don't know how far they're going to go into that, but this could be really cool depending on how far they go with it. And then I love the villain. If the villain is Tony Dalton, which I got a feeling that's what's going to happen.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. And you know what? Now that I was thinking about something, Uncharted games do have a lot of humor to them, and
they
it's
do.
usually pretty good. I
It
mean,
is
Nathan
good.
Drake is a funny guy, so
Right, right. Well, he gives me very like again, I hate this 3 times now. Take a shot. Indiana Jones. They kind of give
Mhm.
me that same vibe. Like Indiana Jones, if you go back and watch his movies, he's very like comical when he's like
Yeah,
killing. He's straight up killing people, and then you
no,
got
yeah,
Nathan Drake doing the same thing. So
yeah. Nathan Drake is just a modern Indiana Jones. Although Indiana Jones, at least from what I remember from the one movie I watched, he's a bit more stoic. He's a bit more macho. He doesn't really. Yeah, Nathan Drake, most of the times he makes jokes at his own expense,
hmm.
right? Like I don't know, he falls on his ass and goes, "Oh man, that's gonna hurt in the morning," stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
Indiana Jones doesn't really do that. He just goes, "Hey pal," that's normal.
Hey,
Makes some sense.
off
Yeah, go
off
ahead.
the off the subject, did you I shared a video on our socials. By the way, people watching, definitely follow us on all our socials, link in the bio. But I actually made a post on Instagram of a cut scene in Indiana Jones. It's actually a side story too. It isn't even part of the main quest,
Uh huh.
but you're disguised as a priest, and you're walking through the cathedral, and this guard stops you right before you walk in the door, and Indiana's like, oh shit, like I just got caught. And the guard's like, wait, hey, wait, you're a priest, right? I got a confession. And he grabs he grabs Indy and pulls him into what, I don't know what you call those things where it's
The
kind of like
confessional.
yeah, it pulls him into one of those, and Indy's just like, and it's straight up Troy Baker. I mean, you can hear his presence all day long, and Indy's like, all right, you're forgiven, and he's about to get up, and the guard's like, wait, no, I have a confession to make. And so they're inside the confessional, and the guard's like, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And Andy's like, okay, come on, let's get on with it, kind of like that. And the guard, and the guard's like, my wife that I'm my wife or my girlfriend, she found out she was pregnant, and he's like, okay, like that's good, right? And he's like, well, it would be good, but I've been fooling around on her with her mother, and
Oh
and
man.
I got this feeling that she's pregnant too, or he found out she's pregnant too. And Indy's like, my God, what have you done? Like that's how he says it. And then the guard's like, wait a minute, you're not a real priest. And then Indy
Oh
just
man.
punches through. There's like this little hole at the confessional
Mhm.
thing. He punches through it and knocks the guy out. I mean, knocks the guard flat out. So Indy walks out of it and goes, sorry, pal, but you earned it. And slammed the door. And I thought that was so great. I thought I laughed so hard at that because when he was like, my God, what have you done? Like, as a
No, that is
priest.
funny.
Like he's like, wait a minute, you're not a priest. Oh man.
Oh,
He's like, yeah, he's like, I think I got my mother-in-law pregnant. Like, whoa.
oh damn. Can't
Um,
wait to like get my hands on that game.
dude, yeah, for sure, man. It's a sleeper hit. It really is. But anyway, yeah, just to go back to Intergalactic, I know we don't have a lot more to say because they didn't give us much, but I am really looking forward to it. Just based off that trailer and what you think, because they said that's been in development since 2020.
Hmm.
When do you think it'll come out?
Uh, uh, before before the end of the generation. I know it's like the safest bet ever, but I feel like it's gonna be like a The Last of Us or The Last of Us Part Two situation, where it'll come out like at the very end of this gen cycle, and I think that's for the best because that way, just like The Last of Us. Do you remember The Last of Us came out on PlayStation 3? That game looks insane because it managed to kind of suss out all of that console's potential, and I want this game to do that for the PS5.
Hmm.
I want people 15 years from now to go, oh shit, game came out on PS5. Man, it looks too good for that console, for that generation. I want this game to be that. I want Naughty Dog to continue this tradition.
Hmm.
What about you? What do you think?
I actually think so it definitely isn't coming out this upcoming year. I know that for a fact.
Hmm.
I think at the end of 2026 actually. I don't think it's going to
Okay.
be as long as what you're saying because not and you might be right on that. You might have hit the nail on that. The only thing I will say to that is that when I heard it's been in development since 2020, I mean, that's been
Hmm.
almost 5 years now. So you think if they give it another year, that's 6 years, I would think within, and especially like towards the end of like 2026, like if you do like October, November, December 2026, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be out by then. I mean, I'd hate for them to show it off this freaking early. They got to stop doing that. They've got to stop
Yeah.
doing that, dude. I hate that.
Yeah. I mean, being a Final Fantasy fan kind of makes you immune to that. But
Mm-hmm.
no, you're right. But maybe you're right. I don't know. I feel like you know what? If they were that confident, they would have given us like a release year.
Mm-hmm.
They would have
Yeah.
said 2026. And because now I feel like, okay, they're saying, oh, it's been in development since 2020. I feel like, I don't know, they're kind of covering their ass, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
saying, well, it might not come out soon, but we've been working on it for a long time, so you can't be mad at us. That's how I read that,
Right.
and why I didn't get my hopes up
So
very much.
when is the state of play? When is state of play usually?
And I, I, I wouldn't know. February maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's probably later than that. Let's see,
Probably later than that. I
state
mean,
of play.
usually I know that at least one year it was in February. I can tell you that much.
Let's see, state of play. Um, let's see. So I'm not seeing anything yet. I mean, it could be sooner. I was thinking maybe it could be like because when do we get the other showcase with Microsoft, PlayStation, all that? I want to say was that around the summertime when all those shows were going on, like Ubisoft,
That's right.
Connect, and all that.
Yeah. That's when E3 used to come out.
I could see maybe us getting like another trailer or something from them or whatever, just something small. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Because I mean, dude, I'm like you though. If it does take until the end of the generation, I'm fine with it. Like it's not a big deal. But I
Hmm.
just feel like we are kind of. I would hope we're that far ahead where we'll start seeing some. gameplay stuff. That would be kind of cool, you know.
Yeah,
But
no, that
maybe not.
definitely.
Maybe not.
That I honestly couldn't tell you. I feel like we're stumbling in the dark when it comes to theories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, this might be me. This is just me, but when we're talking about a game like this, when I'm 100% gonna buy it day one, I'm 100% like gonna support it. I kind of go media blackout on them.
I
I don't
understand.
want to see too much.
I understand.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I wouldn't mind seeing like a little bit more, but like you say, like more than and I'm not I'm probably even though I've probably been more optimistic than you as far as the game is total, I still don't know. I probably will end up getting it day one, but I would like to
mhm.
see more of what it's really about. Like it just I gotta
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it. I think it has a bunch of pieces that I do like, and that's why I'm more optimistic about it because I like the actors. I like the lead actress. I don't have any issue with it. She doesn't look like a guy, so I don't know where that's coming from. She looks like she's very athletic. She looks like gonna be a fun character to play as. I don't really see the issue. The only thing I really say is, you got these people out here, and I don't mean to bring this into another conversation, but it goes back to the whole woke thing, right? Like in today's gaming atmosphere, I will say this. Without a shadow of a doubt, there does seem to be a push for more female protagonists in the games. The only thing I will
For
say is
sure, for
I
sure.
do think if you want to go back to The Witcher 4 though, and again, like I really hope you can play it and you'll understand from a story. I'm sure you'll understand for sure. You got all these other pricks that want to be whatever. Ciri makes the most sense to be the next Witcher.
Hmm.
My phone keeps going off every time I say that name, but yeah, like for sure, like it makes sense,
Yeah,
especially from
she's
a
a
story
successor, of
aspect. Like
course.
it's training. Geralt trained her. She's literally she's part of she's got hunt the hunt the what's it, the Witcher 3 the Wild Hunt. The
Hmm.
hunt is in her DNA, and again, you can watch the whole thing. She's a big character, and so it only makes sense that she's the next in line to be the protagonist. But I will say it does seem to be that all the Sony exclusives, that all a lot of games now are more female led. I wonder what is the reason for that. I don't really have a an issue per se because I've said it a bunch of times on camera. I've said, listen, if you're still getting pissed about females protagonists in games, I mean, I just feel like that's sorry at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, if it's a good game, who cares? Like, but at the same time, I will say it does seem to be more female protagonists. What do you think is going
Oh
on
yeah,
there?
I definitely noticed that as well. And for a decent time now, I remember just before the PS5 was released, I think the summer before, they made like this one huge live stream, right? When they showed up at a bunch of upcoming games. And I noticed, yeah, as you said, there's a lot of more female leads. But I'm gonna say, I don't know, maybe I'm woke, maybe I'm the woke. But I feel that's a good thing. I even get excited thinking about it because, yeah, again, as you said, you have like a lot of like hard right people being really, I don't know, being really upset about it because in their eyes, this new movement is kind of taking over all of the all of humanity's culture. And I feel like, say it were true, right? Say it were true. I mean, change is kind of a natural happening, right? I feel like times change and trends change, and I feel like what's happening is that, I mean, for most part of our recorded history, we've been a male-centered society, right? All of our societies, almost all of them, right? I feel like what's happening, we're kind of getting a taste of something that's kind of always been pushed back, and now that we have, you know, people, now that we have the option, now people are more lenient when it comes to that. People are okay with female protagonists. People are okay with showing different kinds of femininity, right? When it comes to their characters, people are taking advantage of that and they are exploring this because this is what's happening. I feel like because even though we do have a lot of female characters, they are by no means all the same. Like you
Mm-hmm.
cannot tell me by any stretch of the imagination that Ellie, Ciri, Aloy, and this I forget again what's her name, Jordan or something from Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Galacti. Like, but no stretch of the imaginations are they similar in
Mm-hmm.
any way except they are women. right? And of course, being a main characters, they do share some traits like bravery and shit like that. But you know what I mean, right? And so I think you're definitely right. Yeah, it's a and Sony is yeah, you can call it woke, but it really is. It's just a more left oriented mindset, right? A more liberal mindset, if you would.
Hmm.
And I think that's okay. And not just because I'm there, I'll say it. I'm more left oriented, but not just because of that. It's just because we need variety, not just in our games, but in our culture, in our storytelling, because that's at the end what it is, right? Video
Okay, but
games, just like
my
anything.
here's my argument. I don't mean to cut
Oh
you
yeah,
off.
no, 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 go
My,
ahead.
my only argument. So I am like 80% agreeing. The only thing I will
Uh
say
huh.
is that if you're talking about variety, the fact that a lot of companies are making more
Mm-hmm.
female led games, that's not really variety though. Is wouldn't it be better to have more of a mix? I mean, I'm not arguing against your argument. I'm just
No,
saying
no,
like
no.
I would argue with that. If you're talking about variety, wouldn't you want just the same amount of male
Well,
protagonists
no,
as female?
I'm glad you said that. No, you're right. I was actually that was the point I actually wanted to make. Well, here's the thing. We've had and still do have really a shit ton of male-oriented stories in all of our media, like a crap ton. Even now that you're seeing so many female-led ones, they still don't outweigh the number of male-led ones. And so again, what I feel like is happening, yeah, sure, there might be a bit of an unbalance, but it's kind of we're kind of trying to tilt the scales, and it's going to be a long time before that scale evens out. Um, so yeah, I don't think that having a lot of female protagonists right now is hurting variety, because we've explored male characters for, as I said, a long time,
Mm-hmm.
centuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Millennia. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, that's my take on it.
So I know some people, and I'm kind of so I will say I'm kind of also in this ballpark too to a certain extent, but I'm also not there because I can still enjoy the game and be close to to a character, even though I can't feel I'm completely immersed. But what I was going to say to you was, it seems like you're the type of guy where there's some people out there when they play as a female, a man's playing a game and the
Hmm.
female protagonist is in the game, they have a hard time feeling immersed into the story because when we play games, what do we normally like to do? We like to some ways fantasize or look at it in a sense that okay, this player I'm playing is this character I'm playing is a shadow or a reflection of who I
Hmm.
would like to be. It is harder to fit like when I'm playing Uncharted and I'm playing as Nathan
Hmm.
Drake. Nathan Drake, good looking guy, climbing shit, shooting people in the face, and excited about it, psychopath. And when you see that and how smart he is with with everything going to the road to Shambhala and all this other stuff, all these adventures he goes on. When I'm playing that, I'm like, man, like this is who I would like to be. Like I'm playing as Nathan Drake, and so it makes me immersed into the journey that I'm going to.
Hmm.
I don't feel like I have that same feeling. Let's say if I'm playing now, especially when I'm playing Horizon, because
Well, I mean, that's for a whole other reason, I
that's a
feel.
whole other thing. But like for instance, and it's not really a Last of Us Part Two thing because while I'm playing as Ellie, I love Ellie. I love Ellie as a character, and I did whatever I could to protect her in the first game. So when I play as her in this one, it's just a continuation of that. Only I'm Ellie, and I'm a badass as Ellie. I'm like
Hmm.
Ellie, the female version of John Wick. I'm just like straight up just mowing everybody down. So it don't have the same effect. But I guess what I'm my main thing I was gonna bring to you and just see your thoughts on it is when you're playing as a female protagonist. I'm assuming this is probably not the case, but I'll ask anyway. Does it really
Hmm.
ever break the immersion for you? Because as a male playing a game, and let's say you're trying to
Hmm.
really get invested into a story, it's not that you can't look at it from a female perspective. Of course you can, but does it have that same vibe? Again, and another example would be like Life is Strange. Me and you are pretty big
Hmm.
Life is Strange people. But
Oh
I
yeah.
will admit, as much as I love Max Caulfield as a character, some of the things she goes through on a on like a female level, I can get into it from a teenage level because I was a teenager. We're talking about
Hmm.
the first one, by the way, not the new one. But like,
Yes. Hmm.
yeah, but from a teenager perspective, I kind of understand where she's coming from. But from like a female perspective, I cannot. I don't. quite get it. So, do you ever have that same issue playing as female? I know that's really long winded, but do you ever have that
Yeah,
same
no, no,
issue
no, no.
with
No, I get
female
what you
stuff?
mean. That's a good. No, that's a good question. I
What's going
feel
on,
like
Russ? How's it going, man?
thanks.
Sorry to interrupt. By the way, man, I need to holler at you after the show. I'm sorry. We were gonna. I was gonna try to see if I can get you on, but we just got really tired of what we're doing. But the first of the year, we'll get up with you and we'll see what we can do. But I do appreciate you watching, brother. Go ahead, Jan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, hi, Russ. So, well, here's the thing. I've never. You were right to think that it really doesn't break the immersion for me. But you know why? Because I've never really. I'm just a different kind of gamer. I think my love, the way I immerse myself, it's different from the way you do. I don't really need to see myself in the character. I don't need to. The character doesn't have to embody me in that sort of way, you know. Or maybe if it does, I'll correct myself. If it does, it doesn't have to be due to certain, very, let's say, physical traits, right? Like the character being a woman. Because if you're going that far, I mean, let's be honest, neither you or I don't have the physique that Nathan Drake has. So then
Hey, what the?
again, well, well, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, Nathan Drake has like a
Yeah,
dude's hella ripped,
I
like the
get
dude
you.
is
I
really.
got you. I got you.
That's what I'm saying. He is again. He is kind of a model, right? We're going back to what we were saying before of how we're pitting up characters on the big screens,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never felt that I was Nathan Drake. I never felt like I never felt that I was any male character that I played in a video game. In the same way, I don't feel like I'm any female character in a video game. But although what I can say, and this harkens back to what I said before about why I like the variety we're seeing through I learned to kind of embody that character, right? Because as you play the game, as you play through the story, you find out more about this character if it's well written, of course, which is why Aloy is a character that I just cannot get that close with. Although many people do, and that's okay. I feel like I learned to see the world through their eyes, and in that way, I learn to, that way that's how I get the fantasy of being them, right? I uh I don't need to have because I feel like I don't know I don't want to dumb down what you said. I really don't. I think this is just the way I see things. But I feel like the physical appearance, and although of course sex is not just physical appearance, but when it comes down to that, it's not something that it's not a detriment for me. It doesn't stop me from trying to be that character, quote unquote. Did
Right.
that make sense? Did
So,
that make sense?
so let me ask you this: does it? Again, I probably know the answer to the question, but just because I've seen this on a podcast that I was watching recently,
Uh huh.
going off of the character's appearance. Okay, let's take the whole men and women conversation out. Let's just say, all right, you're playing as a
Okay.
female. Does your female character have to be somewhat? How should I put this? Because I know your answer. All right, so take Eve from Stellar Blade. Okay, let's take Eve
Okay.
from Stellar Blade. All right, obviously overly sexualized. People complaining and saying the Siri should look like that is. Oh, sorry, my phone will go off again. Saying that C should look like that and Witcher 4 is asinine. But anyway, besides the point. Um, how far does physical appearance mean for you? So, like, let's say, all right, let's just say for the sake of argument, okay? So,
Okay,
don't.
for sake of
This is
argument,
this is gonna
okay.
say this is gonna sound effed up, but I don't mean it like this. It is
Oh,
a
I
little
love it
bit,
when you
but
start like that.
let's take a woman who's like 400 pounds, and
Okay,
she looks every pound of it, and
okay,
she's the main character of a game.
okay.
Does that deter you from playing the game, or are you cool with playing the game? Because see, for me,
Well,
here's what I will say. I'm not saying she's got to be a smoke show who I'm playing as. At the same time, it's hard for me to talk about immersion. Okay, let's take that out of there. Let's just say playing as a female character doesn't break my immersion.
okay.
Playing as a 400-pound lady
Well,
probably would break my immersion somewhat.
well, well. I mean, that's kind of an unfair scenario because I kind of sure. I mean, it would be a really weird game, right? Because like, what kind of game could you possibly make with an morbidly obese character, realistically, right? So it would have to be very unique, and it would kind of turn me off. But I'll tell you this. Like I throw the ball back at you. Would it be any different if it were a 400-pound guy?
No, I think it
I
would be the
feel
same. I think it'd be the
that's
same
what I'm
actually.
saying. That's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't go stop though. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it probably wouldn't be like the traditional game. I cannot see her, climbing cliffs like Nathan Drake, but maybe she is. Maybe it's like a cooking game. I don't know. Maybe like something.
Kind of like a Life is Strange type thing. Like maybe like it's a
Yeah,
character.
yeah,
Yeah,
or something like that. Exactly.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
like
I mean, look, I know that's a really really extreme like
yeah.
example, but I'm just saying like because and that's why this conversation is so interesting, and that's why I'm glad I'm talking to you about it because there's a lot of people who are straight up assholes about it. And we're like, oh, well, but their character's got to be this way and look this way, and appearance does matter to me to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like if I have Siri. If she looked 400 pounds and she's over here flipping around with a sword and shit, it would take me out of it, especially for the world that they're creating. Now, if it was like, yeah, like you say, like a Life is Strange, some kind of Telltale thing or whatever, maybe that would be a different thing. But that, I'm telling you, for me, it probably would take me
But you
out
know
of
what it
it a
is?
little, just a little bit.
Okay, no, you are right. You are correct. But
I
here's
don't,
the thing.
I don't have to be. I just hope you kind of get what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to
No,
be
no,
a
no, no.
douchebag about it. I'm just saying.
No, I know what you mean, but here's the thing. Yeah, like if I understand what you're saying, I do think it would be absolutely ridiculous for Siri to be 400 pounds and still be a monster hunter. But but I don't think. But we're not talking about like an appearance anymore. I feel like we're talking just about you know for realism, right? I mean, obviously, if you see a morbidly obese person who's also somehow a monster hunter, it would have to be a very comical game, right? It's a game
Yeah,
that's not taking itself very seriously, and
yeah.
that's right. And it's not because the character is not attractive, but it's because the narrative is trying to push. It's very over the top, right? It's very ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
But coming back at you, I mean, I guess yeah, I do have to like the way my character looks, but
Somewhat, right? Just like a little bit, right? You do want to
you
kind
know,
of. I'm not saying you got to be like completely. What's the word I'm looking for? Like shallow. Maybe shallow is not the right word, but you don't have to be like to a certain degree of like yeah they got to be like smoking hot. They got to have a perfect ass. They got to have this. They got to have that.
but
But
here's
it's like you do like them looking somewhat. You know.
well, yeah, but again, it doesn't. I don't think it has anything to do with attractiveness, right? It doesn't have to do with them being smoking hot or whatever. It's just them looking nice, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, think about characters that are not even human, but they must just look cool, right? Think about freaking have you ever played Journey? Uh,
No, I don't think
okay,
so.
try again. Okay, let's go Astrobot, right?
Okay, all right, let's go there.
Okay, right. I mean, Astrobot is a robot. He's not smoking hot, no matter what your
Yeah,
sexual
but that's kind of
orientation
like
is.
that's like
But it
Crash
looks
Bandicoot
cute,
almost.
and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's less about it's less about I don't know the hot value. It's less
Right, right,
about the
right.
spice value. It's more about it's again it is its appearance, but it's the style,
It's
right?
also the type of game you're playing too. Like if you're going for more of a realistic style, okay, all right, so fine. You
All right,
take
all
the
right, all right.
platforming. Don't talk about Jack and Dexter or any of that crap, right?
Okay. Realistic settings. All right.
Yes.
I can salvage this. So let's see. I can't think of any specific game right now. Okay. Let's something like Dark Souls, right? No
Okay.
matter which sex your character is, because you can choose it, they're gonna be like in a suit of armor, right?
Right.
And you don't really care if they're hot or not. You care whether the suit of armor looks cool,
Right. 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 Yeah.
and that's what I'm talking about,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Uh,
That's
so
fair.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, and sure, in some games, like let's say Tomb Raider, right? Like I don't like the overly sexed up Lara, but I do like. I mean,
I
it is
know.
part of her,
I
but I
know.
do like kind of that part. She is a very attractive woman, right?
Right.
So I do like outfits that kind of balance style with practicality. They're also practical.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Uh, so there's that too. But again, it goes from again. And guess what? Lara Croft is a woman, right?
Yeah.
And I can still immerse myself as we were saying, while
Hmm.
playing as her, because I
Yeah.
do dress her up these cute outfits,
Yeah.
which sometimes they're not, sometimes they're straight up badass. And it would be the same if she was a guy. I mean, it would be different, but the dynamic would be similar.
100%. And that's the thing. Like I do, and just to stop on that for a second. I think we talked about this. That Tomb Raider trilogy was awesome, especially those first two
Hmm.
games, especially that first game. Oh my god, dude! Like that survival, trying to get off this island. Laura, she's not the Tomb Raider self yet, and like when you shoot your first person, she's like, "I don't want to do this. I'm so like." She's
Yeah,
actually talking about how she's scared, or like she's never done it before. She's never
killing
shot
people is
somebody or killed
scary.
anybody.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Man,
Even though later on she goes on to gun down.
yeah, 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 she does like give like no fucking remorse towards the end of that game. She's like fucking yeah, yeah.
No,
But
but I
man,
agree that
those are great
goated
games.
series definitely.
Great games.
Shadow kind of was a bit, yeah, a bit of a black
Yeah,
sheep,
it was,
but
man. You know what though, man? But it's not talked about enough because graphically, it's amazing. And I think it's the best
again,
best gameplay in the
again,
series.
again, the first Tomb Raider, the reboot, 7th gen. There was PS3, Xbox 360, and it looked that good. Even the environments. I remember,
Oh
I,
yeah,
like I was a kid back then. I remember seeing the trailers. I remember the shot of like Lara. She's climbing out a building, and part of the building that's in front of her just like explodes, and a wall breaks down, and you gotta get in. And I thought, man, this is the coolest shit ever.
yeah.
Gotta get the game right now.
Dude, it's so cool, man. I remember. Do you remember that magazine, Game Informer? Do they still even have Game Informers now?
Well, I don't think we ever had them here, but I know
Oh,
what you're
okay.
talking about.
Well. Anyway, sorry, I forget about
Yeah.
location sometimes.
Mhm.
But there was a magazine called Game Informer, and it was there was a whole section for Rise of the Tomb Raider because I love the
Uh-huh.
first game. I absolutely love the first game. So when the second was coming out, I was like die hard. I remember, I think I might even pre-ordered Rise of the Tomb Raider. I don't remember, but anyway, um, it had so much like I love the art in that game, like the art style, the different locations you go to. It was awesome, man. And I was game before it closed down. Yeah. Um, I figured. I'm thinking like a long time ago, but I do remember when when they had a whole segment of it in Game Informer, and I remember how excited I was because one, just to go back to Lara Croft's appearance, I think that's the best version of Lara Croft I've ever seen. Like she
Definitely.
doesn't look overly sexualized. I love the outfits. I think everything. No wrong. She was still
Oh
nice
yeah.
to look
Oh.
at for sure. But I think that made her nicer to look at because they didn't like over. I'm not even trying to sound
Yeah.
like that type of guy. I'm not trying to look at me. I'm such a nice guy. Listen, I like boobies and butts as much as the next guy. But let's be honest. I think that the realistic, more settled down version of her
Mhm.
in this game, I loved it. And they're over here now. They're going to reboot it again, and they're going to try to go for more of that sexy Laura. And I'm not as that sucks, man. That
Well,
sucks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, less is more sometimes. Because
Yeah.
let's talk about we've like shat on Eve enough, I think. Let's talk Tifa. Tifa
All right,
Lockhart.
you better
I
watch
mean,
your
I know
fucking
you
mouth.
like it.
You better
I
watch
know,
it.
I know. I mean,
Russ, come on,
okay.
help me
First
out
off,
here.
okay, no, 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 no. Okay, first off, even though I do like Aerith more, I do really like Tifa both as a character, but her design, I just can't, dude. It's too ridiculous. She does have a pretty face and all of that, and again, I do like her fighting style. I understand why she dresses like that, but her body is just stupid, and I have a really hard time, taking the game seriously when when she's dressed like that. There's this very dramatic scene in Rebirth when Cloud is kind of being manipulated by Sephiroth into attacking Tifa, and all the while I'm here, seeing, and I can't because it feels like I'm watching a porn or something. Like, look at
Oh my
how look at
god.
this chick looks. I feel like, okay, when are they gonna start making out? When
What
is it
is it?
gonna start getting heated?
Yeah, I usually skip this part.
Yeah. It's severely toned down from the OG. Yes, correct. It's still too much because in the OG, it's straight up parody. It's a parody of itself. There's this one scene, one of the CGI scenes near the end, where they're on the, I think it's called the High Wind, and and it's like shaking, and like Tifa is shaking, and and her attributes are going all over the
What are
place.
they
It's
really?
a Yeah, and it's supposed to be it's supposed to be like a dramatic scene. Everybody's gonna fucking die, and her boobs are just going flopping up and down. I'm like, you see what I mean?
Yeah, I get you, and yeah, I mean, compared to that, Russ, yeah, I agree. Like it's hard to talk about Tifa, man. Tifa's got a
Yeah,
special place in my heart, dude. I can't.
because I do really like her. I don't mind her being sexy. I really don't. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know what
I
I.
understand you. I get it. I understand. Like this whole conversation, um, is very enlightening to me because it just feels good to. And I've said this to you before, and that's why I'm so glad to do this show with you. Like,
Mhm,
even when we don't agree, I think by the time we finish these conversations, like, holy shit, like I see that, and okay, oh, I see this, and
mhm.
all that stuff. Like, honestly, and everything you said, I've mostly agreed with it. Like, I'll even
Same
admit,
here.
I think Tifa is a little exaggerated. Okay, probably so. Honestly, you know what her best
Mhm,
look is for me? I think her
mhm.
best look is in Kingdom Hearts, like Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yes.
They kind of
Mhm.
pulled off her appearance from the CGI movie that's based after Final Fantasy
Advent
7,
Children. Yeah.
and they kind of gave her that same look, and I'm like, okay, she looks it's pretty good.
Yeah, and because she, right, she's still sexy. She has the exposed thigh and everything.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I agree, and I get it. I get what you mean too.
I just unlocked a
I mean,
memory from my childhood, man. I haven't played that
yeah.
game in so long.
Remember the time? I don't know. I'm just gonna. This is completely out of left field. Has nothing to do with what we talked about at any point during the show. But whatever happened to her in the Kingdom Hearts universe? Because I don't know if you remember, but once you beat Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2, there's this whole scene where Sephiroth goes, "Cloud, you must embrace the darkness within you." I'm like, "Oh man, maybe I do have to." And then Tifa herself is like, "No, fuck that. I'll be your light." And she starts fighting Sephiroth, and they all go, "Oh no, actually, it's not Tifa. Maybe it's Cloud and Sephiroth that their fight opens a portal to another dimension, and just kind of disappear." And they've never been seen since.
Hmm.
Like we were waiting for them in Kingdom Hearts 3, they never showed up.
Well, I mean, that goes back
They've
to
been there.
we might have had that conversation when Russ was on. Like they definitely stepped away from a lot of the Final
Yeah,
Fantasy stuff in 3. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever see anything with that, man, because it's I don't know. We'll see, but that's a
Imagine
whole.
though, like 20 years later, like you're playing Kingdom Hearts 4, and like a portal
20
comes
you
out.
say 20 years later.
It's been 20 years. Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2005.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I thought you were just joking about like because it takes so long between each installment. So I thought you were saying
no,
like when we get Kingdom
it's
Hearts
literally
4 in 25 years.
no, no, no. It's literally been even if it comes out next year, it's gonna be 20 years. And I can imagine like Sora's doing his own thing. All of nowhere, this portal comes out, and Sephiroth and Cloud, looking like they licked in Kingdom Hearts 2, they're still fighting. And to them, like it hasn't even been a second. And Sora's like, "Oh man, I haven't seen you guys in forever."
Okay, yeah. What is Sora gonna look like at that point? He's gonna have like a burly beard and his hair will be
Have you
more
seen
slicked
how he
back.
looks in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
actually
man. And
talked about that. I was really
yeah, we
excited
did.
about it because it
He's
looks
always
more
gonna
like
have the boyish look, I feel like.
yeah, yeah. But the again, we can get on that whole thing. But that off of that trailer, it looks more like it looks more adult to me. Like I
Final
guess they've kind of given that
Fantasy-ish,
whole
yeah.
vibe. Yeah. So I'm whenever we get more story on that, but I do find it strange just to tie up that whole conversation. Like why they announced Kingdom Hearts 4 so early because Kingdom Hearts 3 had only been out. When did it come out? 2017. Kingdom Hearts 3.
19.
Oh, 19.
2019. Yeah.
Okay, well that hasn't. I mean, that's been a while, but it hasn't been like super long. And Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer dropped with like a year and a half, 2 years ago,
I
something like
mean,
that.
I would hope we won't have to wait as much for Kingdom Hearts 4. Um, Clive shows up and swear
As we've seen Joshua.
he's seen Joshua. Dude, I would love that. Clive in Kingdom Hearts 4.
I'm fine with it, dude. I love Final Fantasy 16. I know it's got its problems, man, but I love it.
No, no, I
I
want
listen to the
Clive in
soundtrack every day.
KH4. It's that good. It's that good.
I love the ODST. I think it's all that and Silent Hill 2 are like I mix those up like every day. I'll go from
Oh
one
yeah,
to the other.
Silent Hill 2, me too. Just I'm just taking a walk, just going to class or something.
Dude, it was
But in my
foggy.
hands, I'm
It was
yeah.
foggy outside one day, like when I was at work, and I stepped outside and I put on what song was it? It was
What
I could
promise?
tell you which one it was. Well, that one, but it was another one called I think it's called True, It's the one
Okay, yeah,
where
I know which one
I
you're
think when
talking about. Yeah,
James
yeah,
sees
yeah.
what actually happened to his wife,
Oh, it's
like
the one that goes boom, 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 boom.
yeah, that one, dude.
Yeah,
I was like, that song is such a vibe. I fucking love that song so
it's
much.
great. It's
I even
great.
got my wife listening to it a little bit. I was like, man, check out this freaking badass music.
This bop.
It's just got a great. I go on about this shit. It's got such a great mixture of so many different vibes on that album, on that ODST. Some of the best soundtracks, and Final Fantasy 16 is not as good as that soundtrack, but I will say it has a great soundtrack, and I can mix
Hmm.
those and everything. But anyway, but just to go back to the whole female
Right.
protagonist, I do agree with what you're saying. I do think that even games like Ghost of Yotai, like right, like we
Oh
thought we
yeah.
were going to get a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, and we are, but it's going to be like set like 100 years later or something like that
Hmm.
after Jin's been dead
Couple
for
of 100 years.
oh, a
Yeah.
couple hundred. Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
Jin's gonna be dead. I hope there is a good like Easter egg or a good side quest with him in it because I think they could do that because like in the first Ghost they had like the little the folklore or whatever like the lore objectives where
Hmm.
you go
Yep.
hunt down the person wearing the armor and stuff. I could see them doing that with Jin, like fight the first
Yeah.
Ghost. That would be sick.
That would be
That
cool.
would be so fucking sick,
You
man.
know what I would also be satisfied with, even if they don't do something like that. I would be cool if that. You know how in Ghost of Tsushima you have like the storytellers. You have people, they have like an instrument in their hand and they're telling like
Hmm.
an ancient tale. Imagine you're walking down, one of those villages, and you hear a guy talking, telling this tale of Ghost of Tsushima, pretty much.
Hmm. That's
And how
definitely
the
gonna
legend of
happen.
how the legend of the ghost was born,
Yeah.
and how his legacy lives on.
That's
That
so
would be great.
yeah, dude. The potential of that is gonna be so sick. Like and but then you go back to it. I mean, a female protagonist. Like I say, I just that's why I wanted to really even bring the conversation up because I just think it's a one that is being had everywhere. Everybody's got a different opinion. Everybody says it's woke now. I don't know if again I still don't even know what woke means. I think everybody
You
has their
never will.
own different uh, definition of what it is, but I definitely don't see it as woke. I actually kind of agree with more what you're saying. I just think it's just where we're at in gaming and media. I just think it's just taking that shift, and I think eventually after we do this longer shift, I do think we'll kind of get back to having like 50-50. I do believe that
Probably.
will happen
Most probably,
eventually.
yeah.
So I mean, dude, just let it happen. Enjoy the games. We cannot be bitching about video games, dude. I work 6 days a week. I just want a good video game, dude. I work
Mhm.
so freaking hard. Can I just get a good game? Ghost of Yotai, give me that shit all day. If it came out tonight, I'd pull an all nighter. I'd drink like 5 or 6 more of these, and I would enjoy it. Who cares, dude? Just make her a good character. That's all that matters.
Exactly. That's what I mean. I mean, obviously it is going to be different, but that's the whole point, right?
Yeah,
You don't want to be telling the same story over and over again. Having a different kind of protagonist also opens up new possibilities.
yeah,
Narratively, gameplay wise, it's
yeah,
great. Yeah,
yeah. I love my Joel Millers. I want more Joel. Don't get me wrong. I want more. Yeah,
definitely.
I want some more
Yeah,
tough guys, but it's fine right now. It's fine with what we got. We'll
yeah.
deal with that.
Like honestly, yeah, me too. Like I do like as much as I kind of sometimes scorn a bit the overly macho characters. I definitely see the appeal, and I sometimes getting it as well. I love Joel as well. When he's torturing the two guys out of information, right? He does the thing, well, you're gonna tell me where Ellie is, and I'm gonna ask your partner, the same thing, and you better fucking match up. So he gives him the answer,
Yeah.
kills him. He goes to the other guy, guys, oh, I'm not telling you shit. He's like, it's all right, I believe him. And
No, no, no.
man,
The other guy says the other. Well, that isn't all, but he tells him like, no, he told you everything. He told you everything. I know. And he's like,
uh-huh.
oh no, I believe him, and then just kills him anyway. Yeah, dude. Awesome scene.
That's
Awesome
great.
scene. Yeah, man. But yeah, no. I think we got a lot of good games to look forward to, and honestly, just the whole Game Awards in general with the announcements. It definitely has a lot more things to look forward to than it was before. Like I can honestly say, there are games I'm really looking forward to. 2025 looks like to be a really fun year, man. I mean, we got some ones that are
Wait,
looking forward to for 2025.
yeah, thinking about 2025, isn't Ghost of Yote coming out
It
in
is.
2025?
Well, that's
Oh
what it's
my god.
projected to.
Well, I mean, like, let's be, cautiously optimistic,
Yeah,
optimistic.
maybe GTA 6, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, but even then, dude, it says final quarter of 2025. Oh, you're saying 2026. Sorry, never mind.
So that's what I was saying. Like I know, I think it's projected to come out this year because that's what they
Mm-hmm.
said was 2025 initially. I said I think it'll be pushed back, but if it does somehow get pushed up to this year, I mean that's a big year, man. Especially when you have
Mm-hmm.
the Last Berserker, you got Mafia, you got what was the? I know there's a Perfect Dark sequel coming
Yes.
to Xbox. There's also
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Avowed. Avowed is coming to Xbox as well. That might be a PlayStation one as well.
I mean, every Xbox game
The Outer
has
Worlds. Oh, we
deep
forgot to talk about
potential.
the Outer Worlds, dude. The
Oh
Outer
yeah, we
Worlds.
did. I'm not as much into that,
Oh, you're
but
not really into
we can
that?
talk
Oh,
about it. Yeah.
yeah. We forgot about Outer Worlds too. That is projected to come out this year as well. Great RPG made by the same developers who made uh, Fallout New Vegas. So
Oh, awesome. What are you gonna do for Christmas? Spend time with the fam, and with my girlfriend's fam, and that's about it.
I'm going to work. I'm working on
Oh man.
Christmas and I'm working the day after. I'm working the day before
Oh, okay.
Christmas Day and the day after, trying to make some
That should be
overtime pay.
illegal. Come on. I mean, not just the 25th, the 26th too. It's a Christian holiday. I mean, what kind of values does your company uphold?
I
Like
mean,
what?
unfortunately, no matter what you guys believe or Jan believes or I believe, the government doesn't see that. So unfortunately, people got to go to work. So I'm gonna be busy. But the good news about all this is I'm making overtime hours and I'm making holiday hours. So you're talking with my rate. I mean, I'm bringing in way too much money to say no to. Um, so I'm going to do it right now, especially with my daughter being so little. If my daughter was like 2 or 3 years old, I'd probably be a little bit more pissed about it. But I'm not too worried about it. Like on the holidays, my job is so easy. Like it's just
Okay.
I'm probably just going to be watching YouTube the entire day.
Oh well, that doesn't sound so bad.
So yeah, because everything's going to be done now. I'm just kind of just there to just finish up and so it's I'm very blessed to be in the position I'm in. It just sucks being away from the family too long. Like like I was telling Jan before the show started, I'd worked 7 days straight. I was supposed to work 8 days, but I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, bro, I can't. I got to take off, and I'm taking off tomorrow too, just to have an extra day, just to do whatever. I mean, today was busy. We'll get off of here. I'll watch some Christmas movies with the wife and hang out, play some. I might try to play some Indiana Jones or finish The Witcher because I'm close on The Witcher. But sky's the limit, man. I'm just trying to have some time to enjoy myself, man, because I feel like working so much has kind of made me lose a little bit of who I am, and it does happen. It does happen very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I got a family now. I'm not a single man no more. I'm not a boyfriend. I'm not a fiance. I'm not just a husband. Now I'm a dad. So I have to do what I got to do. We're doing
I
okay,
respect that.
but I gotta pay. I gotta pay debt. I want this house here. I like my office. I like all this shit, but I want my own house, and I can't get my own house by not having money. I gotta pay
Yeah,
shit, and the
true that.
economy we're in. It just sucks. And if anything good can say out of this new administration in the states, maybe we'll get back to a good monetary place. It's going to take time, but maybe we can be in a better spot. I don't know. And there's a lot of people who won't agree with that, and that's fine. But I really do hope that we'll kind of see a things come down, and that way for men like me, I'm trying to take care of my wife and daughter with one house income, and it sucks. It sucks sometimes, man. I can't
Mm-hmm.
even. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but it's just like I was telling Jan on the show, man. Like this too shall pass. It eventually will be over, and then I'll be able to live a life worth living. It's just a lot going on. And there's some things that I want to, that I talked to Jan about that's not on the show, and I'm sure that will continue to be a thing. But one thing I've always tried to do on the Deadhead podcast, since we've done this, I started this show 3 years ago, which is wild, a little over 3 years ago. And one thing that I've always tried to make it a goal of is to be honest with Jan, myself, and the people that watch. And I appreciate everybody who comes in and watches us live and watches after. It really doesn't go unseen. And it's crazy to think this is the last show of the year, which is even
Yeah.
crazier. It makes me sad every time I say it. And the thing is, we've been blessed enough to say this shit like 3 times. Um, which is wild, and honestly, it makes me kind of like get emotional almost because it's weird because I know I've had to put this thing on the back burner. I've had to put the show on the back burner. I've had to put the channel back burner. I haven't made a video in so long. It sucks. I used to be so passionate about making content. Um, but things have to change and evolve, just like the Deadhead podcast, just like the Deadhead 96 channel, just like me, just like Jan. We all have to evolve and do other things and focus on other things. But one of, and I guess this brings to the last segment of the show. One thing as a New Year's resolution that I'm hoping, and we can have this conversation more when we do our first show of the year. Still got to talk to Jan about when we're going to do that because it will be probably towards the end of January, early February when we're back here. But one of my New Year's resolution for the show is just trying to not, even though it's harder, trying to put the show on a higher priority list because I do feel like I haven't been as involved, and I want to apologize to people who are watching who come check us out because it does do a disservice to the people who've really enjoyed being on the Deadhead podcast and watching us. So I want to apologize for that, but I'm really hoping starting this upcoming year um, we'll be in a better place where we can really take this thing a little bit more seriously. But anyways, I know it's kind of long winded. Jan, I know we're kind of,
No, I concur.
yeah, we're on the back end of the show, so we're not going to be on here too much longer. But I mean, like you know, as far as the show goes, I don't know how big of a part of it is in your life. I know it's been harder because we've been kind of busy, but I I'm curious to know. Just tell the people and let myself know as well. I'm just curious. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but like
Okay.
as far as the show goes, like, has it helped you in whatever you're going through in your personal life, things like that? Has it been good to kind of come back and talk about games, talk about life with me and Russ and all the great guests we've had on over the years? Has it
Yeah,
made a big point in your life? Has
you
it
know,
been a big thing for you?
I'll say this. I'll definitely say this. I feel like it definitely pushed me to um to get my opinions out there. Because most of the times, to put it bluntly, I'm a very introverted kind of person. Even though I had a lot of ideas in there, I seldom share them. And if I did, I would do it like with friends. I would almost like I would have like very deep conversations, but only with them. And when you invited me into this show, this podcast, it was kind of, I wouldn't say scary, but it was definitely a bit off-putting to me, the idea of talking to a wider audience. Seems like ideally, I know not that many people watch this, but theoretically, anyone could hear just what I'm about to say, right? And that obviously made me put in a certain amount of effort, right, into what I bring, both opinion-wise, but content-wise. And I think it really helped me with my, well, not so much my critical thinking, but definitely with my critical expression, if I can say, like the way I expose certain opinions, the way I expose certain thoughts. And that kind of had a whole snowball effect where it made me more outgoing. I feel like just a few shows ago, I thought about, I was talking about the fact that I'm finally using social media like a normal person. And I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I feel like this show really helped me with that. I feel like now I have a much easier time, getting out there, as people say. I feel like I'm much better at expressing myself. I feel like that I think that really had a huge impact. Like if you're talking impact in my life, I think that this is the greatest impact. There's that, and then the other part, like I don't want to be like too chummy, but dude, Dylan, honestly, I never would have envisioned having this kind of relationship with you, like having being this close to you, being this good friends with you, to the point that we're talking about so many interesting topics and we're sharing opinions, we respect each other's opinions, we change each other's view on things. I think that's beautiful. I think that's very unique, not something that like not anybody can count on, having someone like that. And honestly, like before this, I kind of thought, yeah, I remember Dylan, he was nice and all, but that's about it. I never thought we'd be this close. I didn't think we'd be like this good friends, even
Mm-hmm.
now. So that was a really nice relation. And about what you said, 100% agree. No, I'm gonna put myself on the spot. I have to put more effort into this. Definitely will. And I'll even And I'm gonna say this: come the end of our hiatus, you'll see changes. I won't say what has changed, but you'll be able to see it by yourselves. I'm not just talking to you, Dylan. I'm talking to all of you guys watching. Be prepared. Be excited if you would. But
Yeah. Yeah, that. I mean, like I said, I think we. I appreciate you saying all that, man, and I think as far as the show is concerned, I think one thing that's really kept me wanting to do it is our relationship, our banter back and forth, whether we agree or disagree. And like I said, not 9 times out of 10, actually, I'd say 10 times out of 10, we're always more on the okay. I feel this way, and then after hearing the other person talk, I feel this way, and it's a lot of times we're in a lot of agreements by the end of a lot of our conversations, even if we
mhm.
are differing or at least understanding of it, even after the conversation is had. And I think that goes back to the relationship we built. I mean, it's crazy. Same way, just to go off of that. I mean, with Jan and I in such farther places. I mean, we're not even in the same country, and to be able to say that Jan is like one of my closest friends that I can talk to, count on. Something's going on, I can holler at him. And a lot of times, it is a lot of bullshit, just talking about games, things like that. But we've also had those really good, deeper conversations as well. And I think that's what's so great about the internet. And even as shitty of a place it can be sometimes with X and Instagram and all that other stuff and all that porn that's everywhere. At the end of the
Even
day,
in our games.
yeah, right. Even in the games, it is cool to have people. And I mean, we've met so many great. I think I say this every year at the end of the year. We've had so many great guests on this year. Shout out to Russ. I appreciate you for watching, brother. We'll definitely have you on soon. I'm sorry to reach out to you sooner. We had to get a show out there, and we're both busy. So I'm sorry, but we'll definitely get you on because you've been an awesome contributor to the Deadhead podcast. Same goes for the Arcane Pain. If you ever check this out, brother, shout out to you as well. It was great. It's been great having you on. It's always a delight having you on. Help me out here, Jan? Who else have we had on here, man? I'm trying to give everybody a shout out.
We had Lyra. We had
Well, did we have
Emma.
Lyra on? Oh, Emma. How did I forget about Emma?
Yeah, of course.
Lyra,
I
did we
think
have
we
her on
had
this
her.
year? Do you think
I
so? If we did, shout out to Lyra.
okay.
I haven't seen her in a while, so
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it, but I'd be surprised if she wasn't here. At least maybe at the beginning of the year.
maybe at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah,
But shout out to her as well. Emma is she's doing big things on her channel. I don't know if you've looked at
I saw.
but
I
she's
follow her.
oh, dude, her subscriber count has gone to the roof. She is being very successful. Honestly, I don't know if we'll ever be able to talk to her like that ever again. Like she's gotten too big time for us. But you know what? If she does stop by, she watches. We're proud of you, and we hope that we can talk to you some more because she's always a delight to have on as well. All
I
right,
concur.
who
I
else
concur.
we got? There's got to be someone else.
Um,
Hold on, I can look through the YouTube real quick. Let me see because
yeah,
I gotta
yeah, do that.
I gotta
Do that.
see who else we've had because I don't.
Before studies, I mean, I can speak for Dylan here too, but we have like terrible memory. So if you don't remember you, it's not because you're unremarkable. We are a bunch of douchebags.
That's that's right. I'm looking through. I see Russ. Let's see. I'm stalling, Jan. You gotta keep stalling.
Oh yeah. So, and also remember that you have to take into consideration that given our age, that we are at a point in time where memory starts to not really be our forte anymore. I mean, we're not really 18 anymore.
So we
What?
didn't have Lyra on the show this year.
Oh my God.
No,
I take it
actually.
back.
Oh man, actually, I exit out of this and I didn't even confirm. I want to say, man, this year is actually. I will say this. I think everybody we shouted out. I think we did get everybody because this year we didn't have as many people on the show this year.
That's true. That's true. I did
Let's
notice
see.
that.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I think Russ, the Arcane Pain, Russ, obviously, and we were supposed to have on Colin. I think his name was Colin. I can't remember what his name is. I'm
Colin
sorry.
is his name. Colin is his name.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think we've only had like 2 other guests on this year, but you know what, man? I can't complain. Those were good guests, and we'll try to step up on that next
Quality
year.
over quantity. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, I think that's all I got, man. I think that's the end of the show. I really do. I don't think there's much more I can really say. It sucks. It always sucks saying goodbye for a little while. It does suck.
Yeah.
It's a much needed break. I know we're very very busy. I'm picking up a little bit more schoolwork starting in January, so I'm gonna be busy
which
on
is
that.
awesome.
Yeah, just trying to further my education and put my family in a better situation. That's really all it is. Everything is for the family. It's not even for me. I'll take my achievements. I'll be proud of it, but it's all for the family. I got a little girl now that looks up to me like I'm her world,
Respect.
and I gotta do it. So, um, I guess last thing I'll say is, Jan, is there anything else you'd like to say to the people one more time before the year is up?
Well, just a season. So wherever you are, whatever your situation is, I hope you're as jolly as you could, and happy holidays, happy New Year's.
Beautifully
That's all
said.
I gotta
Beautifully
say.
said. Last thing I'll say is thank you guys for checking out another episode of the Deadhead Podcast, episode 63. And this is our final episode of the year. I'll talk to Jan about our next startup time. I will say just preemptively, it will be the last week of January, maybe even the first week of February. We'll kind of see in that ballpark. So it'll suck. It'll be weird not talking. I mean, I'm sure I'll talk to Jan a little bit here and there, but it'll be suck not being here with you guys. But I do want to say
The
thank you
longer the
again.
wait, the sweeter the reward, though.
100%. Yep.
Hmm.
100%, and I think that we'll come back even better. So I do appreciate you guys checking us out. Don't forget to follow us everywhere. All of our socials are in our link tree on each respective bio. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Deadhead96. Click the bell for more shows in the future. We're really sad to go, but we are excited to see what
Chocolate.
2025 brings to the new year. E of the
Oh
Dead.
my God, Eve of the Dead is here.
You caught the
Dude, I
tail end of the
missed you.
show. Yeah, man. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, we were talking to him quite a bit last week. Yeah, man, you caught us at the end. I'm sorry, but the entire episode, as it always is, will be on the Deadhead 96, and and be sure to come back to us late January, early February, and we'll talk to you some more then. But with that being said, happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. And yeah, with that being said, we'll see you guys in 2025. So, and lastly, stay dead, but at the same time, stay safe. Maybe that's not. We won't say stay dead during the holidays. Stay safe, but stay
safe.
dead for the Deadhead Podcast. See you soon.
Yeah, guys.